Chapter 740. As he spoke, Xiao Chen's mobile phone received a mission message from Ling Tian. In fact, the content was very simple. On the 5th of next month, the Martial Arts Association would hold a spring festival auction. Cultivators above the level of martial arts master were eligible to participate. Each martial arts master could bring 3 to 5 followers. The followers were limited to cultivators, and there was no restriction on the level. Other than asking him to find a way to get the extraterrestrial meteorite iron, there was no other explanation. It was completely for Xiao Chen to improvise. However, it was understandable. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau should not have received an invitation from the auction. Everything they knew now was by beating around the bush. It was normal that they did not have much information. When the time came, Xiao Chen could only adapt to the situation. Xiao Chen showed the message to Xia Zhili and said, "Right, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, if I go to the auction, won't you give me the auction funds?" "Oh, you bid first, and then in the payment link, just transfer the money directly." Xia Zhili explained, "You haven't experienced similar missions before, so it's normal that you don't know." Coming out of Xia Zhili's office, Xiao Chen called Song Huawu and Xia Shibin to the office. "Hey, Brother Yang, you're back." Xia Shibin was very happy to see Xiao Chen. "I missed you." "Go to hell. Huawu can miss me, but what about you?" Xiao Chen glared at him. "Can't I, your little brother, miss you?" Xia Shibin laughed twice. Song Huawu was also very happy to see Xiao Chen, but she didn't show it. "It's good that you're fine. Don't worry too much about the mission. When we were in Lego Town, wasn't it also very dangerous? In the end, we were saved. You all know?" Xiao Chen was a little surprised. He hadn't said it yet. How did Song Huawu know about the mission in advance? Of course, after the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's decision is made, they will also send us the mission in the form of text messages. Song Huawu said, "It's just that I didn't expect that one day I would start to intervene in the affairs of the martial arts world. I used to act in the secular world. Yeah, it's quite exciting to think about it. Brother Yang, if we kill Wang Chake this time, can Sister Huawu take over the position of Team B's leader? Can I be the leader of Team C?" Xia Shibin asked excitedly. "It'll be a little difficult for Huawu to take over as team leader. Right now, the position of Team B's team leader is still in a difficult situation. It's also the result of the struggle between the various forces. Let her be the vice team leader first. Once she gets the credit, she'll be able to smoothly take over as team leader." Xiao Chen said, "As for Team C, it's basically my and Deputy Director Xia's private territory. No one can intervene. He and I used to control it together, and no one else can intervene. As for Team B, he still needs to sort it out. It doesn't matter. I'm not keen on these things. I just want to contribute to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. But now, the more I know about the inside story, the more disappointed I am. I didn't expect Deputy Director Song to be such a person. I used to think that he was quite good." Song Huawu sighed. Although these things couldn't change her loyalty to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, she was disappointed with Song Bilian. "Actually, I used to think that Deputy Director Xia and Yang Jiannan were jackals of the same tribe. I even wanted to kill him together, but now it seems that he is a loyal person. At least, he is much better than Song Bilian." Xiao Chen also sighed. "Yeah, I used to be annoyed with him and Yang Jiannan. They always pointed fingers in front of me, but now we actually became his people." Song Huawu nodded. "I think it's quite good. I'm now following Deputy Director Xia and Deputy Director Yang. At least, I don't have to be Yang Jiannan's lackey like before. I feel quite happy." Xia Shibin said, "By the way, this mission may be dangerous. Do we need to secretly hide our weapons near the auction? I'm afraid that even if we get the auction item, we may not be able to walk out. I've thought about this, but it's not very practical. Cultivators are very smart. How can there be no patrols in such an important place like the auction? How do we hide it, and where do we hide it? Once we're discovered, have you considered the consequences? Xiaofan shook his head and said, think about it. If our guns were taken away by these martial arts people, how chaotic would it be? Not only would we have to bear the responsibility, but it might also cause chaos. That's true. Then Xiaofan asked. We don't expose our identity as Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Just go to the auction as a rogue cultivator or a small sect. After the auction, leave quickly. Xiaofan said, if our identity is exposed, some martial arts people who are dissatisfied with our Supernatural Investigation Bureau are likely to take the opportunity to kill us. That makes sense. Xiaofan agreed. We'll try to be low-key and mysterious, so that people can't figure us out. If they can't figure out where we came from, they will have scruples when they attack us. As long as we find a gap, we can leave. You guys pack up, and then inform Wang Chake. Let him prepare, to be cannon fodder. Xiaofan laughed. I'll inform him. Xiaofan had been suppressed by Wang Chake many times before. This time, he could finally have some fun. After Wang Chake learned of this mission, he looked at the list of people who were going with him and knew that he was cannon fodder. He also knew the contents of the previous meeting. Xia Jili impeached him and Pang Fengda at the meeting, but he had done it after all. He couldn't hide it even if he wanted to. The Gao family's master was still locked up, so he couldn't deny it. Isn't this deputy team leader Wang? Xiaofan wandered into Wang Chake's office. It's deputy team leader Xia. Wang Chake quickly stood up enthusiastically to welcome him personally. He had to be enthusiastic. Now that Xiaofan was obviously in cahoots with Yang Jiannan and Xia Jili, his backer, Song Bilian, couldn't compete with two deputy bureau chiefs alone. Wang Chake felt that his days were getting harder. Today, he was used as cannon fodder, but Song Bilian didn't even let out a fart. Oh, right. We're going to carry out the mission together. You know that, right? Xiaofan said lightly. I know. When the time comes, I hope Deputy Team Leader Xia will guide me. Wang Chake had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. Oh, you should prepare well. Prepare to die. Oh, no, prepare to go. Xiaofan looked like he had spilled the beans. He grinned and turned to leave. Hey, wait. Deputy Team Leader Xia, don't go. Wang Chake heard that there was a problem. He knew that Yang Jiannan wouldn't let him go. Previously, when Yang Jiannan was the deputy team leader of Team B, he went against him. Now that he had become the deputy bureau chief and was leading the team to carry out the mission this time, once there was a chance, he would definitely not let him go. Looking at Xiaofan's words, he knew that Yang Jiannan had probably already discussed the plan and was ready to use this incident to kill him. How could he not be afraid? Oh, there's something else? Xiaofan pretended to be puzzled and turned around. Deputy Team Leader Xia, I was wrong. I did offend you and Deputy Bureau Chief Yang in the past, but at that time, I had no choice. I'm on Pang Fengda's side. I'm on Deputy Bureau Chief Song's side. We're from different factions. This is understandable. Wang Chake quickly explained. Why are you telling me this? What does it have to do with me which faction you're on? Xiaofan asked. Deputy Team Leader Xia, give me a clear path. As long as you don't take the opportunity to kill me this time, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Wang Chake made up his mind and said while gritting his teeth. He really had no way at all. Song Bilian had not looked for him since the end of the meeting, nor did he explain any countermeasures. Obviously, he had been abandoned. In fact, Song Bilian really thought so. In his opinion, Xia Zhuili and Yang Jianan definitely wanted to kill Wang Chaik, so he had already abolished this chess piece. What are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Xia Shibin looked at Wang Chaik with a confused face. This. Wang Chaik was a little disheartened. This was definitely the rhythm of wanting to kill him. However, maybe my boss, Brother Yang, can understand. I don't study much. It's better to let the knowledgeable Brother Yang listen to such esoteric words. Xia Shibin said. Yes, Deputy Bureau Chief Yang is a top student. He was still studying in Songning Second High School before. He will definitely understand. Wang Chaik was overjoyed. It was as if he had grasped the last life-saving straw. He said with great anticipation, "Please pass the message, Deputy Team Leader Xia." "Oh, then I'm leaving." Xia Shibin was very refreshed. He could finally hold his head high. In the past, Wang Chaik's eyes were almost in the sky. When did he ever speak to him in such a low voice? Xia Shibin turned back to Xiao Chen's office and told these words to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen really didn't know whether to laugh or cry after listening. Who said that we want to kill him? He thinks so himself. Xia Shibin also laughed. After laughing, he asked, "Right, Brother Yang, are you really not going to kill him? Using him as cannon fodder doesn't necessarily mean that we have to kill him. We can do it in the open and in the dark. We can let him go to the auction and secretly transfer the items to us. At that time, he will be the one being targeted. If someone really tries to rob him, we can only say that he is unlucky." Xiao Chen said, "That's what I thought before. This is also not bad. Killing with a borrowed knife, but he is probably miserable." Xia Shibin felt that Xiao Chen's strategy was really a good one. In this way, they also reduced a lot of risk. However, from what you said, this Wang Chaik is a coward. I'm afraid that he won't be able to accomplish anything and will only spoil things. Don't mess things up when the time comes. Xiao Chen was a little hesitant about whether to use Wang Chaik or not. I have the same feeling. If he bites all of us out at that time, then we will be F***ked. Xia Shibin nodded. Let's see. Xiao Chen was actually thinking about how to deal with Wang Chaik. In fact, the best way was not to kill him, but to subdue him. After all, a person with some ability and strength was very helpful to Xiao Chen. Chapter 741. In particular, Xia Zhuili wanted to compete for the position of Executive Deputy Director. At that time, the number of subordinates directly determined his right to speak. If Wang Chaik could be taken in, then Song Huawu would be promoted. Whether it was Group B or Group C, it would be decided by Xia Zhuili and Xiao Chen. At that time, it would be much more convenient. It would not be too difficult for Xiao Chen to recover his identity. Xia Shibin saw that Xiao Chen was lost in thought, so he left with Song Huawu to prepare. Early the next morning, Xiao Chen took Xia Shibin, Song Huawu, and Wang Chaik to a business car. Wang Chaik did not get a positive answer from Xiao Chen. When he got on the car, he was a little nervous. He sat in the car, very reserved and restless. He did not know if this action was his journey of death, but he did not dare to ask in detail. Xia Shibin drove the car and headed for the location of the Outer Martial Arts Circle auction. The location of the Outer Martial Arts Circle auction was actually not very far from Tianfang Province. It was at the junction of Tianfang Province and Dinan Province. There was a huge mountain range here that stretched endlessly. It belonged to the primeval forest within the borders of the Great Xia Kingdom. It had not been developed and had also become the residence of these martial artists. This mountain range was called Martial Mountain in the martial arts world. It was the location of many activities in the Wulin world. When Xiao Chen and the others came here, they could not go up the mountain. There was only a paid parking lot at the foot of the mountain. This was not a tourist attraction. Usually, no ordinary people came here. It was not known if there was a procedure for this parking lot. Anyway, there was a big sign saying, Wulian Guild Paid Parking Lot. With this huge name, it was estimated that no vehicle would dare to come here without paying the fee. When Xiaofan entered the parking lot, he was really shocked by the parking fee. 10,000 a day. Take the card and pay when you go out. The toll collector at the entrance of the parking lot gave Xiaofan a time card. Xiaofan put it in the car and felt a little heartache. 10,000 a day was really a sky-high price. However, Xiaochen had been cheated in the Hakanamata desert before. Now he was used to it. He shook his head and signaled Xiaofan not to argue and just find a place. Xiaofan could only listen to Xiaochen. Originally, he wanted to show his proof. There was also the power of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau in the External Martial Arts Guild. Maybe they could let him park for free. However, he was just thinking about it. Xiaochen asked him to hide his identity. If he was exposed because of this parking fee, it would not be worth it. Behind them, some cars also came in. Similarly, they all silently took their time cards. No one said much to the toll collector. After parking their cars, they got off and walked up the mountain. They didn't greet each other and were in a hurry, as if they were in a hurry to do something. However, what surprised Xiaochen was that the people he saw seemed to be the same as him. They were very careful and low-key, as if they were afraid of being recognized. Some of them even wore big sunglasses, scarves, and caps, looking like private detectives. It seemed that not only Xiaochen was afraid of being robbed after taking photos, but other people in the external martial arts circle were also afraid of this situation. Looking around, the cars these people drove did not have any characteristics of sections. Even the license plates were taken off, so that people could not judge the location of the car and the sect of the people in the car. Also, like Xiaochen, the car had the license plate of Tianfang Province or Dinan Province. It should be a car rented here after arriving nearby. Xiaochen breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the license plate of the car was Tianfang Province. He was afraid that others would recognize the number of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, so he deliberately asked Xiaofan to change to an ordinary license plate, which was an empty number. Even if they investigated, they could not find out the owner of the car. Everyone, put on your equipment. Xiaochen told Xiaofan and others. Before, he was afraid that people would pay attention to him if he was too well armed, but now it seemed that people would pay attention to them if they were not armed at all. After listening to Xiaochen's words, everyone put on their equipment. In the blink of an eye, the four of them became almost the same as others. After getting out of the car, Xiaochen led the way in front. In fact, he was following the people in front of him. It was his first time here, so he did not know the route at all. Fortunately, his perception was relatively strong. The people in front were far away, so Xiaochen could also keep up. Brother Xiao, why do I feel that these people are thieves? Why are they sneaking around in a hurry? Xiaofan pointed to the people in front of him who were walking fast. Who knows? It's also my first time here. It seems that it is not very peaceful here. Xiaochen said. However, just as the two of them finished speaking, a few people rushed over from behind. These people were walking very fast, and they did not hide their strength at all. However, Xiaochen could feel that these people were martial masters, and there were no martial generals. How could they be so arrogant? Get out of the way, get out of the way. The person in front shouted as he ran. Some of the cultivators in front of him immediately moved to the sides, letting this group of people pass. What surprised Xiaochen the most was that these people did not disguise themselves. Instead, they showed their true faces. They even held their heads high and didn't mind being seen by others. Xiaochen quietly signaled everyone to move to the sides. Although these martial masters were not in his eyes, Xiaochen's purpose here was to bid for something, not to fight with others. After these people rushed past, Xiaochen continued to move forward. However, he deliberately slowed down his pace, waiting for the people behind him to catch up. Just now, he saw from the corner of his eyes that a cultivator in front of him could not dodge in time, and was pushed by the martial master who opened the way, causing him to stumble and fall to the side. When this person fell to the ground in defense, Xiaochen also saw his strength. Unexpectedly, he was also a martial master. In other words, his strength was not weak, but he still chose to retreat. This made Xiaochen very curious about the identity of this group of people. After a while, that person came up. He was also an armed cultivator, but compared to the others, his armor was a bit strange. He wore a mask on his face, which made him look quite different. "Brother, may I ask who those ruthless people are?" Xiaochen waited for him to come up, and then asked while cupping his fists. The masked man coldly looked at Xiaochen, did not answer, and continued to move forward. "Brother?" Xiaochen was surprised, and then he chased after him. "Could it be that you are here to make fun of me?" The masked man finally became impatient. He turned his head to look at Xiaochen and said, "You are here to participate in the auction, but you don't know who he is?" Xiaochen's heart trembled. Could it be that this group of people is very famous? "Alright, I am leaving. Don't think that I am easy to bully. It is true that I am afraid of them, but I am not afraid of you," the masked man said indifferently, and his body revealed the aura of a fifth-level martial master. "Brother, we are disciples of the sect who came out to gain experience. This is also the first time we have come to this auction, so we really don't know." Xiaochen smiled bitterly and said, "How could we bully you? The few of us are brother and sister, and even if we combined our strength, we are not a match for you." "Oh?" The masked man was slightly stunned, and he looked at Xiaochen and the others. Xia Shibin, Song Huawu, and Wang Chake hurriedly revealed their strength. The masked man realized that their strength was lower than his, so he believed Xiaochen's words and said, "So you are all disciples of the sect who came to gain experience. No wonder. I am sorry for what happened just now, I thought you were making fun of me." This person was very open-minded, and after listening to Xiaochen's explanation, he felt relieved. "It's okay, our sect is here to let us gain experience. When we saw everyone move away just now, we also moved away. You know that although our sect is not weak, we are just newcomers." Xiaochen deliberately did not say where he was from, and only said, "Also, when you go out to gain experience, you have to keep a low profile. The sect does not allow your identity to be exposed." "I understand that." The masked man nodded and said, "I am from the Green Rock sect, and I am currently the acting sect leader of the Green Rock sect. However, don't you think I am doing badly?" "Brother, you are already a fifth-level martial master, how can you say that? You are much stronger than us," Xiaochen hurriedly said. "Sigh, our sect is just a small sect. My master, who is the old sect leader, has been injured for many years and is bedridden. The disciples of the sect have all left and disappeared over the years. Anyway, seeing that the sect has no development, most of them have gone to find their own way. So, even though I am strong, I still have to lower my head in front of many people." The masked man sighed and said helplessly, "Brother, with your strength, it will not be difficult for you to rebuild the sect in the future." Xiaochen said, "Forget it, I know my own situation." As if seeing that Xiaochen was really a newcomer who did not know anything, the masked man no longer guarded against him. "My name is Zhengxian Xiang, you can call me Brother Xiang." "Brother, you are treating me like an outsider." "Okay, then I will call you Brother Xiang. My name is Chang Xiao, and I am a fourth-level martial master," Xiaochen said. "Oh? You are at the fourth-level martial master?" Zheng Xinxiang was a little surprised. "Then your strength is not weak, and you are a new disciple for training. Your sect is not small. These are all matters of the sect. Forgive me for not saying much. Xiaochen said apologetically. It is okay, big sects have their own rules. Zheng Xinqiang did not mind and said, oh right, you should have heard of the sect of those people. They are from Genie sect. Genie sect? Xiaochen was slightly surprised. He had never heard of it. You don't know? Looking at Xiaochen's expression, it was obvious that he did not know. In the past, besides the matters of the sect, I did not know anything else. Xiaochen said with a bitter smile. That is true. Genie sect is a relatively big sect and is one of the leading sects among the famous righteous sections. So, don't think that those people who just passed by are about the same strength as me. We cannot offend them. These people are very overbearing. When small sects like us see them, we can only take a detour. Zheng Xinqiang said. Oh. Since it is a famous righteous sect, why are they so overbearing? Xiaochen asked. Famous righteous sects are only relative to demon sections. Not all demon sects will name themselves as righteous sects. Zheng Xinqiang said. Chapter 742. Oh. Then your Greenstone sect belongs to? Xiaochen asked again. Our Greenstone sect is in an awkward position. We used to be a righteous sect, but later we changed our main cultivation method and became a demonic sect, but the demonic sect doesn't recognize us. Zheng Xinqiang sighed, now we don't know what we belong to. Anyway, the demonic sect doesn't like us, and the righteous sects don't accept us either. We can only survive in the cracks, which is why many disciples left. As they spoke, they had already walked to the middle of the mountain, but there were many people standing in front of them. They stopped not far away and didn't know what they were doing. Xiaochen and Zheng Xinqiang immediately walked over. Not far in front of them, there were a few people blocking their way. Looking over, they saw 3 black-robed men blocking their way. Some of the people who were blocked were allowed to pass after paying the money, while others were in a stalemate at the side. However, they had their choices. Xiaochen and Zheng Xinqiang watched for a while. The people they stopped were all cultivators in disguise. As for those cultivators who were barging in, they respectfully sent them away. They didn't dare to say a word at all. There was more than one way up the mountain, so there were cultivators coming from other directions. Some people could pass smoothly, while others had to pay the money. Brother Xiang, what is the meaning of this? Xiaochen had already guessed that it was just some people blocking the way to make a fortune, but he still asked. Oh, it's the horse gang. When he said the words horse gang, Zheng Xinqiang suddenly gritted his teeth. Brother Xiang seems to hate these people? Xiaochen was stunned. Not really. After my master was injured, the horse gang robbed our Greenstone sect. Zheng Xinqiang gritted his teeth and said, but these people are originally a gang formed by some fierce bandits. Since ancient times, there has never been a lack of people from the underworld and horse gang. If we want to go, how much do we need to pay for the road? Xiaochen asked. This kind of thing seemed normal to Xiaochen. Didn't they see the high parking fees in the parking lot below? At least 1 million? Let's go and have a look. Zheng Xinqiang sighed and walked over with Xiaochen. If you want to go, leave behind the money for the road. This mountain was opened by me, and this tree was planted by me. If you don't want to delay the auction, then pay up obediently. Of course, if you don't pay up, we won't show up in front of you. The leader of the bandits in black shouted loudly. May I ask how much money do you need? A shifty-eyed cultivator asked. However, Xiaochen thought that this person was just a pawn. He only asked to let the cultivators who came later know the price. The auction this time is relatively grand, so the price of the road is slightly more expensive. The price is 100 million. The leader of the bandits said. What? 100 million? Such a huge toll caused the cultivators behind them to be shocked. Wasn't it a little too expensive? They were all from small sects and many of them were loose cultivators. Taking out 100 million at once would basically mean that they would not have any funds left for the auction. The cultivators who came earlier also shook their heads and smiled bitterly. They didn't want to stay here, but they really didn't have the money to go. 100 million was not something they could afford, so they could only stay here and see if there was any other way in the future. This is simply looting a burning house. Zheng Xinxiang said angrily after hearing this. His face was full of anger and unwillingness. Xiao Chen naturally knew that this was looting a burning house, but he thought that these people were relying on this to make a fortune. However, he saw that from time to time, some cultivators didn't pay up and just walked in with their heads held high. They didn't even give the bandits any face. He couldn't help but have an idea and said, "Those people didn't pay up. Why don't we do the same and break in? This. Will it work?" To be honest, 100 million was not a small amount for Zheng Xinxiang, so he was a little hesitant. After pondering for a moment, he said, "Since Brother Chang said so, then we can only do this. If you want me to take out 100 million, I won't have any money, let alone buy medicine for my master. The only thing we can do now is to give it a try. It doesn't matter if we don't succeed, since we can't go in anyway. Everyone, take off your clothes and follow me in," Xiao Chen said. Okay. Xia Shibin and Wang Chake were masters who could do whatever they wanted in the secular world. Usually, which bandits would dare to rob them? At this moment, they couldn't hold it in any longer. Speaking of pretending to be arrogant, that was Xiao Chen's strength, especially this kind of arrogant young master. In the blink of an eye, he, who had restrained his aura, became a young master with arrogance written all over his face. If he were to say that he was the grandson of some big sect's elder, some people would believe it. "Get out of the way, get out of the way!" Xiao Chen roared as he constantly pushed aside the crowd in front of him and rushed towards a few bandits in big strides. Behind him, Zheng Xinxiang was like a follower, protecting Xiao Chen. Then, Xia Shibin and Wang Chake were the two servants. Song Huawu, of course, was the beautiful girl who accompanied Xiao Chen to the auction. The leader of the bandits was startled. Xiao Chen's aura wasn't fake, but he looked a little unfamiliar. However, the strength of the peak of the fourth layer of Devil Master couldn't be faked, so he didn't stop Xiao Chen. Instead, he silently gave his two subordinates a meaningful glance. Xiao Chen was overjoyed. It seemed that he had rushed through. However, just as Xiao Chen had passed, one of the bandits suddenly exclaimed, Aren't you Zheng Ruobi from the Green Rock sect?" Green Rock sect? The leader of the bandits immediately looked at Zheng Xinxiang and recognized him immediately. Previously, when the Green Rock sect was wiped out, Zheng Xinxiang had resisted, but he had been beaten up. Zheng Xinxiang was shocked, and his liver and guts were about to burst. However, he forced himself to calm down and rushed forward with Xiao Chen. "Wait, stop right there." The leader of the bandits made a gesture, and two bandits immediately blocked in front of Zheng Xinxiang. Even Xia Shibin, Wang Chake, and Song Huawu who were behind him were blocked. Xiao Chen had already rushed over, but now he had no choice. He could not ignore the people behind him. He could only turn back and said impatiently, "Damn, who are you? You dare to block young Master Chang's way. Do you want to die?" "Young Master Chang." The leader of the bandits looked up and down at Xiao Chen. He had never heard of any sect with a young master called Young Master Chang. As professional bandits, they were very discerning. They usually inquired about all the people in the big sects who should not be trifled with, but they did not remember anyone called Young Master Chang. Could it be a nickname? Does it mean that he is a very strong young master? Humph, yes, I am the former acting head of the Green Rock sect, Zheng Xinxiang. However, I am now following young Master Chang. Zheng Xinxiang had no choice, but the arrow on the bow had to be shot. He could only pretend to be arrogant and said loudly, "He, this is young Master Chang, right? It is not that I do not want to give you face. If you want to go over, you can, but you have to tell me your name, right?" The leader of the bandits was not sure if Zheng Xinxiang's words were true or false, but he did not dare to make things difficult for him directly. Instead, he turned his head and asked Xiao Chen, "Is the name of the sect something that can be casually told to you?" Xiao Chen's heart sank. It seemed that he was being suspected. However, he could not lie blindly. What if he said something wrong? "Since you are not willing to tell me, then I have no choice but to pay. Otherwise, how can I, pockmark Yao, live in the future? When the time comes, will anyone who says that they are young Master Chang, young Master Ming, or young Master Lei pass?" Pockmark Yao sneered. Obviously, he was not going to let Xiao Chen pass. "Humph, since you want to know, I might as well tell you. I am from the Kuei Mountain sect." Xiao Chen knew of a rather ruthless demonic sect called the Kuei Mountain sect. As for the demonic star sect and the extreme ice sect, Xiao Chen did not know if the leader of the bandits would give them face. However, the Kuei Mountain sect was clearly a very powerful sect, so Xiao Chen reported its name. "What? You are from the Kuei Mountain sect?" Pockmark Yao was stunned. Then, he smiled and said, "I am from the Kuei Mountain sect. I went over this morning. You said that you are from the Kuei Mountain sect. May I ask what your name is?" "Went over?" Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. He had not expected this. However, he remained calm and said, "That's impossible, right? Senior brother and the others clearly came out later. How could they have gotten ahead of me?" He did not know if this was true or if Pockmark Yao was lying to trick him. However, his answer was watertight. "It doesn't matter if they are your senior brother or not. If you report your name today, then I, Pockmark Yao, will naturally give you face. However, if you don't, he. Pockmark Yao laughed. "I, Pockmark Yao, am not doing this for nothing. If you don't pay up, then please leave. Since you asked, there's no harm in paying. My name is Cheng Mengxiang." Xiao Chen said. "Cheng Mengxiang? This young Master Chang?" Pockmark Yao was slightly stunned. He looked at his two subordinates and asked, "Have you heard of him?" "No." Both of them shook their heads. "I'm sorry, I have to verify your identity. I suspect that you are lying to us." "Of course, if you are not lying, then you can pass," Pockmark Yao said. "Humph, then what are you waiting for? Young Master Chang, my time is limited." Xiao Chen was not afraid of their verification. The Kuei Mountain sect really had a person called Cheng Mengxiang. Pockmark Yao took out his phone. This made people sigh. The horse gang had become modernized. He dialed a number and said a few words to the other side, mentioning Cheng Mengxiang's name. After a while, Pockmark Yao's expression changed. He hung up the phone and looked at Xiao Chen. He sneered and said, "Young Master Chang. Strong my ass. You are just the son of an ordinary disciple of the Kuei Mountain sect, Cheng Xiaofan. You are just a nominal disciple of the Kuei Mountain sect. How dare you call yourself young Master Chang? Since you are from the Kuei Mountain sect, I will give you face and not beat you up. If you don't pay up, then go back." Xiao Chen did not expect Pockmark Yao to be so arrogant. He thought that the Kuei Mountain sect was famous and anyone from the Kuei Mountain sect could pass. However, these people did not give him face at all. However, at this point, it was impossible for Xiao Chen to pay up. There were only 4 people on his side. If they passed, it would be 400 million. How could he have so much money? Chapter 743. Even if he spent the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's money, when the mission was completed, there would be people who would use this matter to attack him and Xia Zhili. Therefore, Xiao Chen's face darkened. His eyes flashed sharply to Pockmark Yao's face. He shouted angrily, "That's old news. Young Master Chang, I'm a core disciple now. Are you not going to move aside? That's provoking the Kuei Mountain sect." "Provoking? You're not qualified. What can you do if I don't move aside?" The leader of the bandits was a level 9 martial master. He didn't care about Xiao Chen at all. Boom! Xiao Chen made his move without any warning. Dark flame palm. Pockmark Yao was caught off guard. He flew backward and drew a parabola in the sky. However, before he landed, Xiao Chen threw out his long sword. The long sword drew an unbelievable arc in the air and pierced into Pockmark Yao's chest. Pfft! A muffled sound was heard. Pockmark Yao spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. He died with his eyes wide open. He didn't expect Xiao Chen to stab him from behind. He also didn't expect the Kuei Mountain sect to be so ruthless. The instant he was sent flying, he knew that he had underestimated Xiao Chen, who was also this Cheng Mengqiang. This person's strength was definitely not as simple as the peak of the 4th layer of the Demon Master. He was on par with him. No wonder he was able to skip ranks to be accepted as a core disciple. It turns out that he had some tricks up his sleeve. No wonder he was so arrogant. Generally, this kind of nouveau riche was arrogant and despotic. He already believed Xiao Chen's words in the air and somewhat regretted making things difficult for him earlier. But now, he wouldn't let Xiao Chen off just like that. He was sent flying and suffered such a huge loss. He planned to get his subordinates to make trouble for him as soon as he got up. In the end, he died before he even landed. Humph. You're courting death. A mere bandit dares to obstruct my path? You're simply courting death. Xiao Chen sneered and said, "Let's go. I'll kill anyone who dares to obstruct us." The remaining 2 bandits stared at Xiao Chen in shock and took 2 steps back, not daring to say anything. The other cultivators who had been blocked also sucked in a breath of cold air. The leader of the bandits was a 9th layer martial master, yet he had actually died at the hands of Xiao Chen. Furthermore, he had only used 2 moves, 1 palm and 1 sword. He had died with everlasting regret. Wasn't this young Master Chang a little too strong? Although the leader of the mounted bandits didn't expect Xiao Chen to make a move, it was obvious that he was able to instantly kill someone of a higher level with a lower level of strength. This was enough to prove that this strong young master was a ruthless person. Just like that, Xiao Chen left with Zheng Xinxiang, Xia Shibin, and the others. The other cultivators also wanted to follow, but they were stopped by the 2 bandits who had reacted. They were afraid of Xiao Chen, but they weren't afraid of these small sects and rogue cultivators. Moreover, although their strength wasn't as strong as Pockmark Yao, they were still 6th or 7th layer martial masters. The 7th layer bandit shouted, "What? Are you going to chase them away? Aren't you afraid of courting death? You guys attack together and kill them." Xiao Chen, who was walking in front, had an idea and shouted. These 2 bandits weren't good people. Of course, Xiao Chen wasn't a martial arts hero. He wasn't kind enough to help the martial arts world. However, when these 2 bandits returned, they would definitely report what happened here to the mounted bandit gang. If they found out that he wasn't Cheng Mengqiang, then it would be a big problem. After all, he had appeared with Yang Jiannan's face and didn't expect to be stopped. Pretending to be Cheng Mengqiang was a spur-of-the-moment idea, and it was too late to change it. "Yes, kill them." Xia Shibin shouted out reflexively. "They only have 2 people left, kill them." Wang Chake also shouted, pinching his throat. "Attack!" Someone within the crowd shouted out. Next, a large number of cultivators surrounded the 2 mounted bandits. They charged forward and started fighting. Punches and kicks were exchanged and the two bandits were beaten to the ground. No matter how arrogant these two mounted bandits were, they would not be able to withstand a beating from so many people. Therefore, very soon, there was no more sound. It was unknown whether they were beaten to death or not. In any case, it had nothing to do with Xiaochen. He had already left. "Brother Chang, you're too impulsive. The mounted bandit gang is not to be trifled with." Zheng Xinqiang said worriedly, "You just said the name of your sect, and many people here heard it. When the time comes, the mounted bandit gang better not go looking for trouble. Although the Kuei Mountain sect is the #1 demon sect, it can't withstand a sneak attack from the mounted bandit gang." "Oh, I made up the Kuei Mountain sect. I'm not from the Kuei Mountain sect at all," Xiaochen said. "Ah?" Zheng Xinqiang was stunned, and then became even more worried. "You're pretending to be from the Kuei Mountain sect. Doesn't that mean you've offended the Kuei Mountain sect? Sai, you're too impulsive. When the time comes, the mounted bandit gang will definitely not let this go. What can I do? Turn around and leave?" However, Xiaochen looked at Zheng Xinqiang. "Elder brother Xiang, I believe you understand that in the situation back then, if I didn't make a move, I could only return. As for taking out so many tolls, that's impossible." "Yes. Actually, it's because I was recognized." Zheng Xinqiang smiled bitterly. "Otherwise, you would have already passed. I'm the one who implicated you." "Brother Chang, you're not a peak 4th grade demon master, are you? You can instantly kill a 9th grade martial master." "Yes, my strength is slightly higher. It's almost the strength of a demon general," Xiaochen said. As expected. Zheng Xinqiang's expression turned serious. He quickly cupped his fists and said, "Young hero Chang, I'm sorry for not recognizing you. You're a demon general, so you're my senior. Thank you for your help earlier. Brother Xiang, I don't care about these superficial etiquettes. Let's hurry. There shouldn't be anyone who will harm us at the auction," Xiaochen reminded. "Yes, I forgot. However, those mounted bandits should have been killed. There shouldn't be any trouble in the short term. Young hero Chang, if you've bought what you need, you should leave as soon as possible to avoid trouble," Zheng Xinqiang reminded. "Of course, I understand." Xiaochen nodded. As the two of them spoke, they continued walking up the mountain. The location of the auction was the peak of Wu Mountain. The scenery here was very beautiful, especially the higher they went, the more the mountain was surrounded by white fog. It was like a fairyland. At the peak of the mountain, there was a large hall. In front of the hall was a huge square. The mountain peak was flat. When people walked up, they suddenly felt a sense of enlightenment. Xiaochen saw that everyone was walking towards the hall. If there was no accident, that should be the auction venue. Xiaochen also brought some people to follow. However, the situation in front made Xiaochen slightly stunned. "Martial sects, register here. Loose cultivators, pay the auction deposit here. One person, 10 million. An auction staff at the entrance said to the people who came. This rule made Xiaochen feel a little dizzy. Why did loose cultivators have to pay the deposit to enter? Soon, it was Xiaochen and Zheng Xinqiang's turn. Seeing that Xiaochen didn't say anything, Zheng Xinqiang said, "We are from Greenrock sect." Greenrock sect? Didn't they disband after being robbed by the horse gang? The gatekeeper heard it and said disdainfully, "According to the rules for loose cultivators, go over there and pay the money." Zheng Xinqiang's face flashed with anger. It was true that his sect was robbed and some disciples left, but it was a bit too much to say that it was disbanded. However, the situation was stronger than people. He suppressed his anger and could only nod and say, "Okay." Xiaochen wanted to use the name of Zheng Xinqiang's Greenrock sect to enter, but he didn't expect that the gatekeeper didn't give him any face. Of course, Xiaochen could also understand that these people were taking the opportunity to collect money. Naturally, the more the better. You are together, right? Hurry up and pay the money. The gatekeeper looked at Xiaochen and said impatiently. No, we are from a sect. Xiaochen naturally didn't want to pay the money. The four of them made 40 million. The auction hadn't even started yet, and 40 million was already in. It was really a scam. Sect? Which sect? The gatekeeper asked in disbelief. We are. Xiaochen was about to say the Kuei Mountain sect when he suddenly saw Xiaofan in the hall of the auction hall. He was talking to a few people, who seemed to be from the Kuei Mountain sect. This made Xiaochen swallow the words that were on the tip of his tongue. They were so close, and the gatekeeper had a loud voice. It was hard to guarantee that Xiaofan and the others wouldn't hear them. If they did, they would be exposed. At this thought, Xiaochen's brain worked quickly to think of a solution. However, before he could think of a solution, he heard someone behind him say, "Isn't that the people from the Kuei Mountain sect?" "Shoo, lower your voice." The leader of the horse gang, pockmarked Yao, was killed by this person. Oh. This gatekeeper dares to stop him? Does he want to die? The gatekeeper also heard the discussion behind him. His expression suddenly changed. The Kuei Mountain sect was very famous in the martial arts world. He quickly said, "So it's the young heroes of the Kuei Mountain sect." You can go in after registering. It was too late for Xiaochen to stop them. Xiaofan was indeed attracted by the loud voice. When he saw Xiaochen, he was stunned. Wasn't that Yang Jiannan? He didn't know that Yang Jiannan was Xiaochen in disguise, but he knew Yang Jiannan's identity. Thinking of this, Xiaofan walked over calmly and greeted Xiaochen with a smile. "Junior brother, what took you so long? Come in, come in." There was no hatred between him and Yang Jiannan. On the contrary, if he could build a good relationship with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it would be quite beneficial for him. Although the Qing family had come to the Kuei Mountain sect, Qing Mengqiang still had to return eventually. At that time, the Qing family in the secular world would have to rely on the Supernatural Investigation Bureau for help. Therefore, when he saw that Yang Jiannan was obviously hiding his identity, he didn't mind helping him. Senior brother Qing, it's you." Xiaochen laughed. When Xiaofan heard this, he was very happy. It turned out that Yang Jiannan knew him. Therefore, he quickly said, "Junior brother, please come in." Chapter 744. With Xiaofan's guarantee, the gatekeeper naturally did not dare to say anything. After all, Xiaofan was a genuine disciple of the Quishan sect. The cultivators behind were not surprised to see this scene. After all, Xiaochen had previously said that he was from the Quishan sect, so it was normal for someone from the Quishan sect to welcome him. "Deputy Director Yang, why are you here?" Xiaofan asked politely after they reached a place with no one else around. "Oh, I'm here to carry out a mission." "It's not good to expose my identity," Xiaochen said in a low voice. Among the cultivators here, only Xiaofan had been in the secular world and knew Yang Jiannan. The others naturally did not know him. "I see." Xiaofan looked like he understood. "If there's anything you need help with, Deputy Director Yang, just say the word. I won't hesitate to help. By the way, I have some things I want to auction here. Do you know where to go?" Xiaochen originally wanted to ask, but since he had an acquaintance like Xiaofan, he would not stand on ceremony. "Oh, the Quishan sect also has some things to auction. It's just over there. I'll take you there." Xiaofan did not think there was anything wrong with this. After all, people who came to the auction did not necessarily have to buy things. They could also be here to sell things. Xiaofan led the way and brought Xiaochen to the door of a room in the corner of the hall. He knocked on the door, and soon, a middle-aged man in staff uniform opened the door. When he saw that Xiaofan looked familiar, he nodded and said, "What's the matter?" "Oh, this young hero has something to auction here, so I won't disturb you." "Young hero Yang, you talk to him." Xiaofan did not follow him in and stayed at the door. Although he did not know what Xiaochen wanted to auction, this kind of thing was very taboo. It was the same principle that the Wuxian sect did not want others to know about the things they auctioned. After closing the door, the middle-aged man looked at Xiaochen from head to toe and said faintly, "You're from the Wuxian sect? Didn't you just send something to be auctioned? What, did you miss something?" Although the Kuei Mountain sect had a lot of influence, Xiaochen didn't seem like an important figure. The middle-aged man was very busy, so it was only natural that he didn't want to see him. "Oh, it's like this. There's an item that we didn't want to auction because it's very precious. But after thinking about it, we decided to take it out." Xiaochen didn't mind the middle-aged man's attitude. If you don't take out something good when doing business, how will the other party treat you well? Moreover, the Wuxian sect had already been here once. Normal people would not think that there would be anything good here. That was why Xiaochen pointed out that there was something valuable. "Oh." As expected, the middle-aged man's expression changed. His previous impatience was gone. Instead, he was filled with anticipation. "What is it? Take it out and let me see." "It's a mental cultivation method secret manual." Xiaochen said, "This secret manual is called the 5 Poisons Secret Manual." "What did you say?" "The 5 Poisons Secret Manual?" The middle-aged man's expression suddenly changed. He stared at Xiaochen in shock. "Is this really the 5 Poisons Secret Manual that has been lost in the martial arts world for a long time? Why is it in the Kuei Mountain sect? I don't think there's a need to explain the origin of the item to the auction house, right?" Xiaochen was also a little shocked. Was this 5 Poisons Secret Manual something amazing? Why did this middle-aged man have such an expression? "I'm sorry, I lost my composure." The middle-aged man came back to his senses and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, there's really no need to explain. The auction house doesn't have such a rule that we must know the origin of the item. I'm just a little shocked. This is a secret manual that once set off a bloody storm in the martial arts world. It's actually in the Kuei Mountain sect." "Hee hee." Xiaochen smiled and did not reply. Instead, he took out the 5 Poisons Secret Manual. Although he somewhat regretted saying those words, he had already said them. It was impossible for him to go back on his word. He did not know that this 5 Poisons Secret Manual had such a great reputation and origin. However, Xia Zhili did not seem to know about it either. It seemed that this was a matter of the outer martial arts world. "This 5 Poisons Secret Manual is authentic?" The middle-aged man took it and wanted to flip through it. However, he found that it was sealed and could not be opened, so he asked with some doubt. This was sealed by Xia Zhili before. The purpose was to prevent the auction house from secretly looking at it and copying it. That would be meaningless. After all, the value of the secret manual lay in the words on it. Few people knew about it. If there were many copies, it would be everywhere. This thing is up to the wisdom of the wise. I'll take it out for auction. If you believe it, you can naturally buy it, but if you don't believe it, there's no way. Xiaochen said. That's true. I'm too excited today. You're right. These things are up to the buyer to judge for themselves. However, I suggest that we still reveal the contents of the first 2 pages during the auction. Otherwise, it's very likely that there will be an awkward silence. The middle-aged man said, of course, it will be opened during the auction. It won't be opened in advance. This is no problem. Xiaochen nodded and said, everything will be arranged by your side. However, How much can this 5 Poisons secret manual sell for? This book can no longer be measured by its value. However, according to the financial resources of this auction house, it should be about 1 billion. The middle-aged man estimated. 1 billion. If Xiaochen knew this value before, he would be very shocked, but now he knew that this price was definitely low because this secret manual was priceless. Fortunately, Xiaochen had a copy in his hand. Of course, if it doesn't reach the price in your heart, young hero, you can choose not to sell it. You can set a minimum transaction price. If it doesn't reach that price, we will return the item directly to you. We won't secretly check it. The middle-aged man said, "You can rest assured about the reputation of our outer martial arts auction. It has been held for many years. It's impossible for us to embezzle the items of our guests. I naturally trust your side. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken it out. However, try to sell it as much as you can." Xiaochen wasn't stupid enough to take it back. This thing would be snatched to death by others. Wasn't this looking for trouble? Xiaochen was now afraid that others would come looking for trouble after this. If there was a 5 Poisons secret manual, it would be safe. No problem. I will tell them. The middle-aged man nodded and responded. There is one more thing. Please keep it a secret. Don't say that our Quishan sect took it out, said Xiaochen. That's for sure. Unless the customer deliberately requests to say the information of the provider, we won't say it. The middle-aged man said, Right, young hero, is there anything else? No. Xiaochen shook his head. Then you should leave as soon as possible. If someone sees it, maybe they will think of something. The middle-aged man said, and then he gave a receipt to Xiaochen. This is the voucher. You can collect it later. Thank you. After Xiaochen put it away, he quickly left the room. Xiaofan was chatting with Xiaofan at the door. Xiaochen didn't know what they were talking about. He listened and found that it was some unimportant things. On the contrary, Xiaofan intentionally or unintentionally probed something. Mr. Cheng is overpraising me. I'm just taking over as the team leader of Team C. This is also thanks to Brother Yang's promotion. However, does your Cheng family still need my help? Didn't they all go to the Quishan sect? Team leader Xia is modest. My son, Cheng Mengqiang, will return to Songning City sooner or later. He came here just to gain experience and get the title of a registered disciple. When he goes back, he can also expand the Cheng family. Cheng Zhongfan smiled. So, please take care of me, team leader Xia. Of course, no problem. Right, where is Cheng Menjiang? Asked Xiaofan. Cheng Menjiang? Cheng Zhongfan was stunned. It's okay. I used to be her classmate. I think this girl is quite beautiful. I'm just asking. Xiaofan smiled. Oh, it's good. She is practicing in our Quishan sect, but she is engaged to Yao Baoang. Of course, it is just an engagement. There is no substantial progress. When Cheng Zhongfan heard it, he suddenly regretted it. It would be great if Cheng Menjiang married Xiaofan. Xiaofan would soon be the team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. He would take more care of the Cheng family. At that time, it would be a great help for Cheng Mengqiang. So, he immediately pointed out that there was no substantial progress between Cheng Menjiang and Yao Baoang. If Xiaofan was good enough, he could pursue it himself, but there was no way to ask for his help. It's a pity. I like her quite a lot. Xiaofan was a little disappointed. But I'm only the deputy team leader of Team C. It's not enough. When I become the deputy bureau chief, I will see if I can bring her back. If you want to force it, the deputy bureau chief is not qualified. Cheng Zhongfan thought that Xiaofan wanted Yang Jiannan to help, so he explained, the Quishan sect has a backer in the martial arts world. If it were a small sect, the Deputy Bureau Chief of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would be a great existence. They would give him face no matter what, but the Quishan sect won't, unless it's the Bureau Chief of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. I see. Xia Shibin nodded calmly. I just said it casually. Hey, Brother Yang is out. Let's go for a walk first. See you at the auction. Okay, see you at the auction. Xiaofan felt that he had a good chat with Xia Shibin. When Mengxiang went back, maybe he could rely on them for help. Xiao Chen heard the conversation between Xia Shibin and Xiaofan clearly. He secretly nodded to Xia Shibin. This guy is smart. He knows to take the opportunity to ask what I want to know. When they walked to a place where there was no one, Xiao Chen said, there were some mistakes this time. The 5 poison secrets is a very important thing. Taking it out for auction now may cause some unnecessary trouble. Chapter 745. Ah. Xia Shibin also knew that this 5 poison secret book was found in the cultivation ruins together. His face suddenly changed. What should we do? We can only take one step at a time. Fortunately, no one should know that we took it out. Xiao Chen comforted, I heard what you said to Xiaofan. You did a good job. Coming to this auction, the only thing that comforted Xiao Chen was that he received the news that the miss was safe and sound. However, the strength of the Quishan sect also made Xiao Chen a little worried. Even the deputy director of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau couldn't negotiate with the Quishan sect. It seemed that their background was not ordinary. Xiao Chen still knew nothing about the internal martial arts world. Over there, Wang Chake stood far away and didn't dare to follow. He hadn't integrated into the small group of Xiao Chen yet. Without Xiao Chen's permission, he didn't dare to come over at will. He could only stop not far away and look around awkwardly, like a lookout. Fortunately, the auction should be about to start. Xiao Chen saw a lot of people walking to the entrance of the hall, so he waved to Wang Chake and quickly said to Xia Shibin, don't talk about other things first. It's more important to complete the mission first. Understood. Xia Shibin nodded. When Wang Chake saw Xiao Chen calling him, he was very happy. He trotted over with a smile on his face. Brother Yang, you called me? I came here this time to kill you. Xiao Chen's words made Wang Chake's face pale, but Xiao Chen ignored him. Instead, he pointed to the venue not far away and said, let's walk and talk. How could Wang Chake still have the mood to talk? He was a little shaky when he walked. He could only beg, Brother Yang, I was wrong. I was really wrong before. Don't kill me. It wasn't that he had no backbone, but Xiao Chen killing him was easy and pleasant. Didn't he see the horse gang leader, Pockmark Yao, was killed by Xiao Chen in one move? Oh, but you used to work for Song Billion. How can I trust you? Why should I let you go? Xiao Chen asked, it's not easy to get a chance. If it were you, would you give it up? This. Wang Chake put on a long face and said, I'm sincerely defecting. That old thing Song Billion has already abandoned me. Ever since I was chosen to carry out the mission with you, he hasn't contacted me. I'm completely disappointed. I can't return to his camp. You make it sound nice, but how can I believe you? Xiao Chen laughed. I have here some of the dirty things that Song Billion has done over the years. Just like what I did to the Gao family and the Qi family before, but compared to him, I'm nothing. He has been plotting against others all these years. Wang Chake quickly said, I have evidence in my hands. Oh? Do you have proof? Xiao Chen was stunned. This Song Billion didn't seem to be a good person. As far as he knew, Xia Zhili had never done anything to harm others except for his selfishness. However, this Song Billion had obviously surpassed this level. Also, Song Bilian is actually a slave of the Song family in Wulin. Therefore, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau has turned a blind eye to him without any evidence all these years. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made any contributions, and he would have been taken down a long time ago. Wang Chake continued and said all the information he knew. Song Bilian has a relationship with Wulin? Xiao Chen was a little shocked after listening. I've been with him for a long time. I heard him mention it when he was bragging to us after drinking. In fact, I don't know if it's true or not, but it should be true. Otherwise, Song Bilian has no achievements. How can he be on an equal footing with Deputy Bureau Chief Xia Zhili? Wang Chake said, when Deputy Bureau Chief Xia was young, he used his merits to exchange for his position. He was a little willful when he was old. As long as he didn't do anything that would harm the interests of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, no one would care about him. But what about Song Bilian? So I think what he said is 80% true. It turns out to be the case. Xiao Chen nodded. How much evidence do you have in your hands? There are a lot. Wang Chake didn't hide it. I have saved it in the network disk. I will send you the account and password now. Brother Yang, you can transfer it. As Wang Chake said this, he took out his mobile phone and sent the message to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was a little surprised. He didn't expect Wang Chake to betray him so thoroughly. In this way, it was equivalent to completely falling out with Song Bilian. No matter what he said before, it was all empty talk. But now there was evidence. Xiao Chen was equivalent to holding his lifeline, and Song Bilian could no longer accept him. Xiao Chen directly logged into Wang Chake's network disk. Sure enough, there were some photos and audio recordings, as well as some text account books. These were the things that Song Bilian had instructed him to do over the years, and some things that he knew. Xiao Chen transferred these to his own network disk, and then patted Wang Chake's shoulder. When I'm not in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, go to Deputy Bureau Chief Xia's office more often. It's all the same. Yes, yes. Thank you, Brother Yang. Wang Chake was overjoyed. He knew that Xiao Chen accepted him. In fact, he didn't want to betray him even if he could. If Song Bilian could protect him, then he definitely wouldn't betray. It was just that Song Bilian completely abandoned him, so he had no choice but to protect himself. However, he also knew that even if Xiao Chen accepted him, he wouldn't trust him too much. It could only be said that under the same circumstances, Xiao Chen would still take care of Xia Shibin, and he could only be regarded as inferior at best. However, he was already very satisfied with this. This time, he thought that he was dead for sure. It was impossible for him to go back alive. Fortunately, he had too much evidence of Song Bilian in his hands, which made Xiao Chen keep him. Otherwise, if he had no value, why would he keep him? He brought everyone into the auction and saw that Xiaofan had arrived from a distance. Xiao Chen nodded to him, and Xiaofan was overjoyed. He thought that he had established a good relationship with Yang Jiannan. As for the others, Xiao Chen roughly looked at them. Some were masked, and some were showing their real faces. However, most of them were masked. It could be seen that these people were still very careful. Xiao Chen found an empty seat and sat down. It wasn't too close to the front, but this kind of place didn't need to be close to the front. It was fine as long as the auctioneer in front could hear the bid. Not long after he sat down, most of the people in the auction venue had entered, and the door was closed. Xiao Chen did a rough count and found that there were nearly 1,000 people in the venue. It seemed that after the two mounted gangsters were killed, the people behind them all came in. However, what surprised Xiao Chen was that he saw Zheng Xinxiang again. Previously, Zheng Xinxiang was called to pay the deposit, and Xiao Chen was lured in by Xiaofan. The two of them separated and were very happy to see each other again. "Brother Xiang, you're here," Xiao Chen said with a smile. Yeah, young hero Chang, why aren't you with the people from the Quishan sect? Zheng Xinqiang was also a little surprised. He thought that Xiao Chen would be with the people from the Quishan sect when he saw them. Oh, no. Didn't I tell you just now? I'm actually not from the Quishan sect, but, on the surface, my relationship with them is a little complicated. Xiao Chen said. Oh. Zheng Xinqiang was stunned, but he didn't ask further. This kind of thing was obviously not a good thing, and it was better not to know. Sigh, I spent 10 million. That's the deposit, but it's not refundable at all. I asked, and they said that they're afraid that some loose cultivators with no money will come here to join in the fun, so they have to prove that they have the financial resources to participate in the auction. I think it's a scam. That can't be helped. The organizers probably don't dare to scam the money of the big sects, so they scam the loose cultivators and the small sects, Xiao Chen said. Yeah, but it's not that they don't dare to scam the big sections. This auction has a very strong background. They probably have some business dealings with these sects, so they're just giving them face. If they really want to scam them, they don't mind, Zheng Xinqiang explained. I see. Xiao Chen nodded. As they spoke, the auction began. An auctioneer walked up to the stage. It was a woman of unknown age. Her face was covered with a thin veil, but her face could not be seen clearly. However, her figure was very hot, and she should be the mature type. As soon as she came up, she attracted the cheers of many male cultivators below. Xiao Chen didn't expect these cultivators to be equally lecherous. They would cheer at the sight of a beautiful woman. It was really the same everywhere. Those who didn't know better would think that this was an auction in the secular world. The woman was wearing a well-trimmed cheongsam, which further accentuated her beautiful figure, but not revealing any flesh. It was obvious that she was not here to sell her body. Every move she made exuded a mature charm. If one's willpower was not good, they would have lost their souls by now. However, Xiao Chen wasn't such a shallow person. Putting aside the fact that his girlfriends weren't bad, even if he didn't have those girlfriends, with Xiao Chen's temperament, he wouldn't be mesmerized by a masked woman. Young hero Chang, you don't seem to be interested in this woman? Zheng Xinqiang was a little surprised. Isn't Big Brother Xiang the same? Xiao Chen smiled. I know myself. I know that I am definitely not worthy of her. I come from a small family, how can I afford to raise such a stunner? Even if I can afford to raise her, she will be snatched away by bad people. Zheng Xinqiang shook his head, but young hero Chang, you are different. You are strong and have a background. These men who are cheering are mostly young talents from various sections. That's why they are so unscrupulous. Look at those masked men, they basically don't speak. Even if they are envious, they are just looking at her, they don't dare to say it. He. Xiao Chen smiled. This woman was indeed attractive. The mature auctioneer stood on the stage and gently waved her hand. The lights in the venue immediately dimmed. A few spotlights shone on the auctioneer's body, making her exquisite figure even more visually shocking. She suddenly became the focus of the audience. Chapter 746. Greetings, heroes and warriors. I am Xiaofan, the auctioneer of this auction. Welcome to the Martial World Spring Festival auction. Xiaofan's voice was very pleasant to the ears, but Xiao Chen found it a bit awkward. It felt as if it was not her real voice. Her voice was pleasant to the ears, but it felt fake. As soon as Xiaofan's voice fell, the audience burst into a warm applause. Obviously, everyone present was Xiaofan's fan. Our Lunar New Year auction has been held 5 times, and this year is the 6th. Every year, a mysterious item will appear, and this year is no exception. Why don't you all make a guess as to what it will be? Xiaofan deliberately kept everyone in suspense. She smiled and said, Alright, let's cut to the chase. The auction officially begins now. Xiaochen looked at Xiaofei and his heart skipped a beat. Could it be that the mysterious item was the 5 poisons secret manual that he had taken out before? Thinking about the middle-aged man's expression at that time, it should be the case. Although he regretted it, there was nothing he could do about it. If he had known that the secret manual was so mysterious, he would not have taken it out. If someone wanted to investigate the origin of the secret manual, they would probably investigate him. That would be asking for trouble. The first auction item is a heavenly raven ginseng. As soon as Xiaofei's voice fell, a staff member presented a box. The box was opened and the item inside was shown to the cultivators present. Then, Xiaofei continued, everyone knows what heavenly raven ginseng is. It is one of the main ingredients used to concoct body-tempering potions for martial masters. It is priceless and very rare. The first item of the auction was a rare treasure. It immediately attracted the cultivators present. Of course, only some martial cultivators were interested in it. Demonic cultivators were not interested in it because they did not need to temper their bodies. The starting price of this heavenly raven ginseng is 10 million. Each increment must be no less than 1 million. Alright, let the auction begin. Xiaofei said. 15 million. As soon as Xiaofei's voice fell, another voice sounded. However, it did not increase the price by 1 million or 1 million. Instead, it directly increased by 5 million. It was obvious that this person was rich and was determined to get this heavenly raven ginseng. Otherwise, he would not be so heroic. However, he wasn't the only heroic cultivator here. As soon as this cultivator finished speaking, another voice rang out, I bid 20 million. Xiaochen felt that the voice was somewhat familiar. Looking towards the source of the voice, he realized that it was actually the arrogant young master of embroidered clothes sect that he had met on the road. It seemed that not only was this person arrogant, but he was also very wealthy. Is embroidered clothes sect opposing our steel leg haul? You clearly know that this thing is very important for us to cultivate our steel legs, yet you want to snatch it from us? The first person who made a bid suddenly stood up. He was a bearded man, and his voice was very angry. Huh, what a joke. Naturally, the highest bidder wins the auction. You can't afford it, yet you're complaining here. Aren't you ashamed? The arrogant child sneered disdainfully. 30 million. The bearded man didn't say much and directly quoted the price, 40 million, young master arrogant said coolly. The first auction item had almost become a tool for these two people to fight. Naturally, no other sects and cultivators would participate in the bidding. First, the price was too high, so it was not worth it. Second, they didn't want to offend embroidered clothes sect and steel leg hall because of such a small matter. Both of them were big sects. 50 million. The bearded man slammed the table in front of him and shouted. Young Master Arrogant wanted to continue speaking, but he was pulled by someone next to him. Obviously, it was his fellow sect member. He felt that it was not worth it to increase the price, so he stopped him. Young Master Arrogant didn't dare to disobey this person. He said unwillingly, so what if I give it to you? I spent 50 million to buy this heavenly raven ginseng, and this thing is only worth 30 million. What a fool. If you can't afford it, just say it. Don't say that the grapes are sour when you can't eat them. Is it fun? The bearded man looked at young Master Arrogant with disdain. At this time, a staff member brought a card reader and asked the bearded man to swipe his card. The auction house was also afraid of people who didn't pay after winning the auction. This way, they could prevent people from calling out random bids. Even if he wanted to raise the price, he would have to pay the bill if he lost the bid. After all, the auction house charged a 20% commission. Therefore, he had to think carefully before making a decision. Xiaofei didn't seem to be affected by the tense atmosphere between the two sections. When the bearded man swiped his card, she still used her charming voice to say, "The first auction item has given us a good start. Thank you, brother from Steel Leg Hall." When the bearded man heard this, he felt as if his bones were going soft. His eyes instantly turned into the shape of a heart. Originally, he was a little distressed about spending 50 million to buy the heavenly raven ginseng, but now he felt that it was all worth it. No matter how much money he had to spend, it was all worth it if he could get a compliment from a beauty and some attention. Supporting Xiaofan is our principle. The bearded man glanced at young Master Arrogant proudly. Motherf ****. Young Master Arrogant was so angry that he cursed. If he knew that Xiaofan would pay attention to him, he would get her even if he had to spend 60 million. After all, there was no man in this auction who didn't want to fall under her skirt. Moreover, he could guarantee that although everyone was here to participate in the auction, it had become a custom to visit Xiaofan every year. Xiaochen frowned slightly. This Xiaofan really knew how to confuse people. With just a few words, she got a loyal supporter of the auction house. These men. However, Xiaochen sighed. He suddenly thought of himself. Wasn't he also a die-hard fan of Shen Jingxian? Sigh, who hasn't been young before? If the bearded man and young Master Arrogant knew that Xiaochen used such an old-fashioned tone to evaluate them, would they die of anger? The second auction item is 1,000 miles talisman. Xiaofan waved her lotus-like arms gently in the air, drawing a beautiful arc. Her whole body seemed to be dancing. Coupled with her coquettish voice, it made people's hearts beat faster. Even Xiaochen couldn't help but have a slight reaction. Of course, it was purely a reaction of lust. He had to admit that Xiaofan had already reached the acme of perfection in manipulating men's hearts. Following Xiaofan's movements, another staff member carried a wooden box onto the stage. Then, she took out the item from the wooden box and displayed it. Everyone knows about the 1,000 miles talisman. This is a talisman refined by a talisman master. After using it, one can teleport thousands of miles away in an instant. It's a rare treasure for escaping or pursuing enemies. Xiaofan opened her right hand and pointed at the 1,000 miles talisman. She glanced sideways and explained the function of the item. Her every movement was full of temptation. Especially when she turned her body sideways, her beautiful curves were revealed to everyone. Coupled with the spotlights, the waves of her chest made people's imaginations run wild. Although most of the men below the stage were head over heels for her, they couldn't help but be shocked when they heard the name of the 1,000 miles talisman. Martial cultivators were mighty figures from ancient times. Nowadays, whether it was the internal or external martial arts world, they no longer existed. Even if some Taoist temples still retained some of their legacies, they could only make simple talismans. For example, fire talismans, water talismans, etc., could be used to light a fire or light a cigarette. However, it was impossible to achieve more profound functions. Therefore, such ancient talismans were rare. In particular, talismans with very powerful functions were rare treasures. It should be known that once this item was bought, it could allow one to teleport thousands of miles away in an instant. If someone was chasing after them, it would definitely be a great escape weapon. Xiaochen was also a little shocked and tempted. This was a good item. If he used the 1,000 miles talisman after the auction, wouldn't he be able to escape in an instant? However, he couldn't do it. If he ran away, what would happen to Xia Shibin, Song Huawu, and Wang Chaik? Moreover, this thing might not be cheap. It would be a waste if he used it for such a trivial matter. Sure enough, Xiaofan soon confirmed Xiaochen's thoughts. Everyone knows the function of the 1,000 miles talisman. The starting price is 30 million, and each increment must be no less than 10 million. It was indeed a high price. It was 3 times higher than the valuable heavenly crow ginseng. Xiaochen directly gave up competing after hearing it. I bid 40 million. A voice sounded. It was a masked cultivator. His bid surprised everyone present. However, the auction was for the highest bidder. Why would a small sect or a rogue cultivator buy it? 50 million. Another voice sounded. It was a long-faced cultivator without a mask. He didn't say much after bidding. He just quietly looked at the 1,000 miles talisman in the hands of the staff member. Xiaofan was a little surprised when he saw his appearance. The men here basically had their eyes on Xiaofan, but this person only stared at the 1,000 miles talisman. He was a strange guy. 80 million. A voice sounded, shocking everyone present. Before, the price was increased by 10 million, but when it came to him, he directly increased it by 30 million. He was really rich. Looking in the direction of the voice, it was a man wearing a black bamboo hat. The hat covered him from head to toe. It was impossible to see his face clearly. Moreover, his voice was neither male nor female. Obviously, he had changed his voice. Even his gender could not be distinguished. At this price, Xiaofan gave up the intention of bidding. How could these people from the outer martial arts world be so rich? Where did the money come from? The long-faced cultivator frowned, but he didn't say much. He directly said, 100 million, 150 million. The black bamboo hat said without hesitation. The long-faced cultivator was a little shocked this time. What was this person doing? Could it be that the purpose of this black bamboo hat was the same as his? Chapter 747. He wanted this talisman because he wanted to go back and study it, not to use it. His sect had some connections with Taoism. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was an evolution and inheritance of cultivators. However, apart from research, if he wanted to use it, spending such a high price was simply burning money. Although these people who came to the auction were the elites of the outer martial arts world, most of them represented the will of their sections. Although this talisman was very useful for saving one's life, if one spent so much money on something useless to the sect, wouldn't that be asking for a scolding when they went back? 160 million. No, 200 million. The long-faced cultivator hesitated for a moment and directly said while gritting his teeth. 200 million was the limit he could bear. If he couldn't get it, then he could only give up. At this price, the previous competitors would no longer compete. Only the man with the black bamboo hat still said in a somewhat strange voice, 300 million. Hiss, when the people present heard this, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. This was simply burning money. One had to know that everyone could see that the long-faced cultivator was putting up a final struggle. As long as the bid was 210 million, this black bamboo hat could be won easily. However, he directly bid 300 million. This was really a case of being rich and willful. Wasn't he too rich? However, although they were shocked, no one bid again. Even the long-faced cultivator smiled bitterly. He knew that he had not lost unjustly. The other party's financial strength was really too strong. 300 million going once. 300 million going twice. 300 million going thrice, sold. Xiaofan gently picked up the small hammer and hit it. She stretched her arm forward, revealing her exquisite and curvy body again. The sound of swallowing was endless. However, at this moment, Xiaofan looked at Xiaofan with a strange expression. He was already used to the 300 million for a talisman, but for this Xiaofan, he seemed to have a sense of déjà vu for a moment. However, it was only for a moment, and then he had no impression. He had not participated in any other auctions, so he should not have seen this Xiaofan. Moreover, such a stunner exuded temptation with every move. Xiaofan felt that he should not forget her if he had seen her. The staff took the card reader and the long-distance talisman to the man with the bamboo hat to complete the formalities. The man with the bamboo hat seemed to be very straightforward. He directly swiped the card and then kept the long-distance talisman. The auction continued. Xiaofan closed his eyes. He didn't dare to be interested in the other items in this auction. Of course, even if he was interested, he wouldn't be able to afford them. The prices of the items in this auction were heaven-defying. However, listening to Xiao Fei's voice was a pleasure. His purpose in coming here was to bid for the extraterrestrial meteoric iron. When the time came, he would fight with all his strength. But to Xiao Chen's surprise, the big bearded man, the arrogant young master, and the long-faced cultivator all continued to participate in the battle. On the other hand, the truly wealthy man in the bamboo hat seemed to have no interest in the remaining battles. He closed his eyes in contemplation, but there was not the slightest hint of enjoyment on his face, as if he were about to fall asleep. It seemed that this person was either a woman or a cultivator with a firm will. She was immune to Xiao Fei's charming voice. The next auction item is a 1,000-year purple snow lotus. Xiao Fei's voice made Zheng Xinxiang, who was next to Xiao Chen, suddenly tremble. It was not that he liked Xiao Fei, but this 1,000-year purple snow lotus was exactly what he needed. His master was seriously injured and needed a 1,000-year purple snow lotus as medicine. However, this thing was very rare. He had asked around and learned that it would be sold in this auction, so he came to participate. Otherwise, in such a high-standard auction, the Greenstone faction would not participate in the fun. Why would they come if they didn't have money? The staff of the auction showed the 1,000-year purple snow lotus in the box. Zheng Xinxiang's breathing was a little rapid. Xiao Chen opened his eyes and looked at him. He asked, "Do you want to buy this?" "Yes, my master needs this medicinal herb." Zheng Xinxiang nodded. "Everyone has seen it. The starting price of this 1,000-year purple snow lotus is 20 million. Each increment must be no less than 10 million. Xiao Fei smiled and said, "Everyone, please bid, 30 million. Zheng Xinxiang said directly 50 million. A voice sounded, and Zheng Xinxiang was shocked. He did not expect someone to compete. He had limited funds. If the price was too high, he could only miss it, 60 million. Zheng Xinxiang had no choice but to bite the bullet and bid 80 million. The voice continued to bid. It was actually the long-faced cultivator, 100 million. However, before Zheng Xinxiang could make a bid, another voice rang out. It was a middle-aged man with a pale face and no facial hair. He was not wearing a mask. Instead, he casually sat there. Clearly, he was also from a large sect. Smiling Maitreya, you are doing this on purpose, right? The long-faced cultivator's expression changed and asked angrily. We, the joyful clan, need this thing for dual cultivation. What's wrong with that? The person called Smiling Maitreya said indifferently, as if he was not afraid of the long-faced cultivator. From their conversation, these two people's sects should have some conflict. Otherwise, they wouldn't be bickering here. Humph, very good. 150 million. The long-faced cultivator shouted 200 million. The Smiling Maitreya looked at the long-faced cultivator with a smile. Oh, then I'll give it to you. Did you forget that I don't have that much money? If you have more than 200 million, I will buy the 1,000-mile talisman. The long-faced cultivator laughed. Are you stupid? You spent 200 million on something that is worth tens of millions. Humph. Anger flashed across the Smiling Maitreya's face, but he still maintained his smile. I am willing to spend money to make Xiao Fei smile. What's wrong with that? The Smiling Maitreya said indifferently, if you can't afford it, just say that you can't afford it. Huh, up to you. The long-faced cultivator laughed and did not speak. On the other side, Zheng Xinxiang was secretly complaining. This time, he had only brought 250 million. Previously, when he entered the shop, he had spent 10 million, so he still had 240 million left. Now, it seemed that these two people were fighting and had suddenly raised the price. It would be very difficult for him to get that 1,000-year purple snow lotus. When he saw that the horse-faced cultivator had given up, he was overjoyed. Thus, he hurriedly called out, "I offer 210 million. Senior Smiling Maithreya, it just so happens that I'm here to take over. Please let me have it." The Smiling Maithreya looked at Zheng Xinxiang with a smile. No one could tell what he was thinking from his face, but in fact, he was calculating in his heart. He made the bid to argue with the long-faced cultivator, but now that the long-faced cultivator had given up, it was useless for him to buy it. At this moment, it was a good thing that someone wanted to buy it, but the bad thing was that this person actually said that he wanted to buy it. This made the Smiling Maithreya very angry. If you said that you wanted it, just bid directly. Why did you say it out loud? Aren't you saying that I don't have money? The Smiling Maithreya usually cared about his reputation. Since he had said it out loud, he could not let it go. He said coldly, 250 million, what do you mean? Why do you want to buy it? Can't I need it myself? That long-faced guy said that the grapes were sour because he couldn't eat it. Did you take it seriously? This. Zheng Xinxiang was stunned. He did not expect things to turn out this way. Sigh. Xiaofan could not help but sigh. This Zheng Xinxiang was still too inexperienced. Although there were shameless cultivators, there were also some who wanted to save face. This Smiling Maithreya was such a person. He knew that Zheng Xinxiang said this out of kindness, but this kindness seemed to be almost like charity. How could the Smiling Maithreya accept it? 200 million. Zheng Xinxiang wanted to bid again, but he immediately thought that he had no money. He could only shut his mouth resentfully, but he was not willing. He gritted his teeth and turned to look at Xiaofan. "Young hero Chang, can you lend me some money? I can if it's tens of millions, but I don't have any more." Xiaofan had a pretty good impression of Zheng Xinxiang, but he really didn't have any money right now. The 5 Poisons secret manual hadn't been auctioned yet. His own money was the money he got from Xiaofan previously. Okay. Thank you. Zheng Xinxiang immediately had confidence and bid, 260 million. 300 million. The Smiling Maithreya smiled insincerely. "Kid, do you want to go against me too?" "I." Zheng Xinxiang complained. He seemed to understand that he shouldn't have said so much before. If he didn't say it, maybe this Smiling Maithreya wouldn't continue. But if he said it, this person would definitely compete to the end because he wanted to save face. However, 300 million was not enough even if Xiaofan lent him tens of millions. He could only give up helplessly. "No, senior, I don't dare to do it again." "Humph humph." The Smiling Maithreya looked at Xiaofan proudly. "Xiaofan, no one else is competing, right?" "Hee, big brother smiling face, this 1,000-year-old purple snow lotus is yours. Thank you for supporting Xiaofan." Xiaofan smiled and nodded lightly to the Smiling Maithreya. The Smiling Maithreya was very satisfied. He waited for the staff to come over and swiped his card to keep the 1,000-year-old purple snow lotus. Although this thing was bought to fight with Horseface and it was not useful for the time being, it did not mean that it would be useless in the future. However, what made him angry was that something that could be bought with 200 million was interrupted by Zheng Xinxiang. In the end, he had to pay an extra 100 million. After the staff left, he lowered his voice and asked a joyous clan disciple next to him, "Who was the person who bid against me?" "Martial uncle, please wait a moment. I will go and investigate." The disciple nodded and responded, then went to inquire. Not long after, the disciple came back and said, "It was the acting leader of the Greenstone sect, but the Greenstone sect no longer exists." "Okay, I got it." The Smiling Maithreya remembered this name. What he hated the most was people who humiliated him. In his opinion, This kid said that he wanted to take over in front of so many people. It was obvious that he looked down on him. The auction was still going on, but Zheng Xinxiang was a little dispirited. He sighed and said, "Young hero Chang, I'll be leaving first during the half-time break. Since I can't buy what I want, there's no point in me staying here." Chapter 748. You're leaving just like that? You don't want to look around anymore? It's not easy to come here. Isn't your 10 million wasted? Xiaofan also saw Zheng Xinxiang's disappointment. That can't be helped. The deposit is not refundable. Zheng Xinxiang said helplessly, "I originally thought that the money I brought should be enough. I asked around, and the price of the few thousand-year purple snow lotuses that appeared before was only around 100 million. There wasn't such a high price, so the money I brought was enough. Who would have thought that such a thing would happen? Sigh, it's my fault. I shouldn't have said that. So that's how it is." Xiaofan nodded. He had a good impression of Zheng Xinxiang, so he thought for a moment and said, "I do have some medical skills. You can leave me the sect's address. When I'm free, I'll go and take a look at your master. Who knows, there might be a way." "Ah, really?" Zheng Xinxiang didn't doubt Xiaofan at this moment. Instead, he said in surprise, "That's great. Thank you, young hero Chang. I'll leave the address to you." As he spoke, Zheng Xinxiang took out a paper card. It was his business card. The position of the acting leader of Greenstone sect was printed on it. It was quite exquisite. However, with his current situation, he rarely gave business cards to people. After all, Greenstone sect only existed in name. "Okay, since you trust me, I'll definitely visit." Xiaofan didn't expect Zheng Xinxiang to trust him so much. If it were someone else, he would have doubted and asked, but Zheng Xinxiang didn't and directly gave him the address. Little did he know that Zheng Xinxiang felt that Xiaofan had no need to lie to him. Because he was the acting leader of a declining sect. What could he lie to? Moreover, Xiaofan was so powerful. He was a devil general. What was the point of lying to him? "Then I'll wait for young hero Chang. I'll leave first," Zheng Xinxiang said with his fists clasped. At this time, the first half of the auction ended. He got up and left the venue. After resting for half an hour, the auction resumed. Smiling Maitreya saw that Zheng Xinxiang didn't come back and couldn't help but be stunned. He thought that this kid ran fast. He wanted to teach him a lesson after the auction ended. However, it was useless even if he ran. The monk could run, but the temple couldn't. The half-hour break is over. I believe everyone can't wait for Xiaofei's arrival, right? Xiaofei walked to the front of the stage with sexy steps. Under the spotlight, she changed into another set of clothes. The only regret was that her face could not be seen clearly. But thinking about it, it wouldn't be too bad. Sometimes, the unseen was the best. The person in charge of the auction knew this principle very well. With Xiaofei around, the value of the auction would be doubled. The surroundings immediately fell silent as soon as Xiaofei spoke, and all of them revealed looks of anticipation. Of course, it was true that they were looking forward to Xiaofei's performance, but it was mostly because every time the auction started, they would bring out the final mysterious auction item. I wonder what it will be this time. Xiaofan didn't know about this. He just looked at Xiaofei in confusion. He didn't understand what everyone was looking at. Alright, I won't keep you in suspense anymore. The second half of the auction will officially begin. Xiaofei smiled, and her sexy lips opened and closed, looking very alluring. It's about time for our mysterious auction item to appear. Let us invite. At this time, a staff member appeared on the stage. In his hand was an extremely small and thin jade box. But what good stuff could such a small box contain? Everyone present was very curious, and all of them couldn't take their eyes off it. Many perverted male cultivators who came for Xiaofan also turned their attention to the jade box. The spotlight stopped on the staff member's hand. He slowly opened the jade box, and inside was a book. What book was this? How could it be worthy of being the final mysterious auction item? Only Xiaofan smiled bitterly. As expected, his 5-poison secret manual had been taken out. I believe everyone can see clearly that this is a secret manual. But what kind of secret manual is it? Xiaofan walked over and gently took out the secret manual from the jade box. She said in surprise, "Wow, it's the long-lost 5-poison secret manual." Xiaofan's words caused the whole place to fall silent for a short while. Then, there was a burst of discussion and sighs. It's really the 5-poison secret manual? Isn't that the special skill of the poison sect? It's long been lost. Why did it appear again? It can't be. Is it real or fake? It's an imposter, right? How could such a thing suddenly appear? And if someone got their hands on it, wouldn't they be stupid not to keep it for themselves and auction it instead? Sure. I think you're the stupid one. What if this was taken out by some big sect? Aren't you courting death? Ah. I didn't say anything. All sorts of discussions came from the audience. Xiaofan cooperated and didn't say anything. She allowed the audience to exclaim. Only by doing this could the value of the 5-poison secret manual be brought out. Otherwise, if it was something that no one was interested in, how could it be called a mysterious auction item? Now, I will announce the starting price of this 5-poison secret manual. The starting price is 500 million, and each increment must be no less than 50 million. Once Xiaofan said this, everyone present was shocked again. Even if it was a mysterious auction item, it wasn't this expensive in the past. 500 million starting price? This was a sky-high price, and each increment must be no less than 50 million. This condition was also very harsh. But thinking about it carefully, if this thing was real, then it was really worth this price. Wait, how can this thing be proven to be real? The one who spoke was the arrogant young master. His sect had nothing to do with poison. He had only asked this question to make his presence known and talk to Xiaofan a few more times. Of course, he didn't rule out the possibility of his sect wanting to buy it and study it. Even if it was a righteous sect, in front of a secret manual that could sweep away the entire Jianghu, the name of a righteous sect was not important. I also know that some people might ask this question. Then, before the auction, I will open the seal of this 5-poison secret manual and read out the contents of the first 2 pages. As for whether it is real or not, everyone can judge for themselves. Xiaofan smiled and picked up the 5-poison secret manual from the jade box of the staff member. She opened it on the spot and read out, "The 5-poison secret manual is." The audience was so quiet that even a needle could be heard. Everyone present was an elite of their sect. Whether this secret manual was fake or not, they could roughly guess in their hearts after listening to it. Although they didn't come from the path of refining poison, there were many similarities in the path of martial arts. Alright, that's it for now. You can start bidding now. Xiaofan put the 5-poison secret manual back and looked around. 600 million. To everyone's surprise, the man in the black bamboo hat who wanted to buy the long-distance talisman was the first to bid. Moreover, he increased the price by 100 million, even skipping the 50 million mark. Every time this man bid, he would always be very generous. However, after a short moment of surprise, someone else bid 650 million. This was a devil sect, 800 million. This time, it was Xiaofan from the Qishan sect who bid. The devil sect was most similar to the cultivation of poison. Therefore, most of the bidders were from the devil sect. Only the background of the man in the black bamboo hat was unknown. 1 billion. The man in the black bamboo hat bid again, as if the money in his hands was not money at all, but just a number. 1 billion. The man from the devil's sect continued to bid. 2 billion. Anyway, Xiaofan was rich and overbearing to spend the money of his sect. He didn't feel the pinch at all. Just now, his senior brother had already told him that he could buy anything within 2 billion. Therefore, he was at ease at this moment. 5 billion. The way the man in the black bamboo hat increased the price made everyone present speechless. He was just short of announcing in public that he was determined to get it, 2 billion. At this time, another group of dark horses appeared. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice. It turned out to be the people from the 10,000 Medicine Valley. Treating people, saving people, selling medicine, and buying the 5 poison secrets might not be for cultivation, but for research. However, his bid got rid of many competitors. Xiaofan could only back out. His senior brother just said that it was within 2 billion. Now that it had arrived, he could only turn his head and look at his senior brother again. Forget it. His senior brother shook his head. We don't specialize in research. Even if we buy it, we might not be able to cultivate it. When the time comes, we will easily get into trouble. Although we are the #1 sect in the devil sect, it's not worth it if someone covets it because it's useless. Yes, I understand. Xiaofan nodded. It seemed that his senior brother meant to buy it if it was not too expensive. If it was too expensive, then forget it. If it was too expensive, then it would be a double loss. And the devil sect who had previously bid also stopped at this moment. Because 2 billion was not something that any sect could take out. It had to be settled on the spot and could not be delayed. Therefore, even if some sects could take out the money, they couldn't come up with it in a short time. 5 billion. The man in the black bamboo hat spoke again. He didn't say much. After bidding, he shut his mouth. 3 billion. The man in the black bamboo hat bid again. 5 billion. The man in the black bamboo hat said unhurriedly. The people from the 10,000 Medicine Valley hesitated for a moment and gave up. It was true that the 10,000 Medicine Valley was rich, but it was really not worthwhile to take out more than 5 billion to buy a secret book that couldn't be used for cultivation. Even Xiaofan himself didn't expect that it would be sold at a high price of 5 billion. It was valuable. The middle-aged man said that it was about 1 billion. It seemed that he had underestimated it. Of course, this was also because of the appearance of the nouveau riche, the man in the black bamboo hat. Without him, it would be impossible to have such a high price. Now, Xiaofan really wanted to shout 4 billion. However, in the end, he didn't dare to. If the man in the black bamboo hat wasn't a nouveau riche, he would be ruined. 5 billion going once, 5 billion going twice, 5 billion going thrice. Sold. Xiaofan was also a little shocked. The transaction price this time, 5 billion, could be said to be the largest single transaction price in the history of the auction. It was unprecedented. Of course, the value of this 5 poison secret book was also the highest. If it was real, then the person who cultivated it might be able to sweep the martial arts world. Chapter 749. The man in black bamboo hat didn't look at Xiaofan at all. His eyes were fixed on the jade box in the hands of the staff. When the staff came, the man in black bamboo hat directly took out his bank card, completed the formalities, and took the 5 poisons secret book. He flipped through a few pages in his hand and put it into his pocket. However, he didn't take his hand out immediately. Instead, he fumbled for something. After a while, he took out a talisman. It was the long-distance talisman that he had bought at the auction. He started to activate the long-distance talisman. The next moment, a white light flashed, and the man in black bamboo hat disappeared from the venue. This situation caused all the cultivators present to be dumbfounded. Because everyone was looking at the man in black bamboo hat. After all, this guy was so generous that he bought a 5-poison secret book with 3.5 billion. However, they didn't expect that this man would use the long-distance talisman in front of everyone and disappear directly. Until this moment, everyone understood that this man must have planned this. Or, he didn't plan it before, but after seeing the 5-poison secret book, he planned to escape. Everyone understood the possible consequences of this thing. If someone tried to rob it after the auction, it would inevitably cause great trouble for the man in black bamboo hat. Therefore, it was better for him to leave first. In this way, no one could find him. Although it was a little impolite for the auction host to do this, he was a big client after all. The auction wouldn't care much since he had spent 3.5 billion. Moreover, Xiaofan secretly guessed that someone must have secretly tipped off the man in black bamboo hat before the auction, so the man in black bamboo hat bought the long-distance talisman in advance. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? Of course, Xiaofan also understood this. It was understandable for the auction host to inform potential clients who might buy this kind of collection in advance so that the client could prepare some money in advance. After all, it was good for both the client and the auction host. The more money prepared, the more money the final auction price would be. Therefore, Xiaofan was happier. Moreover, Xiaofan admired the man in black bamboo hat's approach very much. He was really a talent. In this way, it saved a lot of trouble for Xiaofan. Everyone's attention would be on the man in black bamboo hat who had bought the 5-poison secret book, and no one would care about who provided the secret book. Even if they thought about it later, Xiaofan had already left. Xiaofan wanted to thank the man in black bamboo hat for making such a farce, which made him so happy. Well, let's continue the auction. Although it's impolite to leave midway, our auction house doesn't restrict auctioneers from leaving midway. What if they have something important to say? Xiao Fei had to admit that it was Xiao Fei who could control the atmosphere, the man in of the black bamboo hat. He had to admit that Xiao Fei was very good at stirring up the atmosphere. The influence of the man in the bamboo hat had completely disappeared. Everyone's attention was shifted to her. With her graceful figure and charming smile, the mood became fanatical again. A few more items were sold at a high price. Xiaofan was getting a little impatient from waiting. He wanted to leave after buying the meteoric iron from outer space. However, the auction was about to end, and he still hadn't appeared. He was really anxious. The next item is the last auction item. It is also one of the finale items. Xiao Fei said to everyone with a smile, "I believe that many people have already guessed what it is. Yes, we have released the news of this auction item in advance. It is the meteoric iron." This meteoric iron was originally the first item to be auctioned in the middle of the auction. However, it was pushed down by the 5-poison secret book that Xiaofan took out at the last moment. If Xiaofan knew about this situation, he would probably regret it. However, he didn't know that the 5-poison secret book was so important. In his opinion, how important could the thing that Xia Qili wanted be? He didn't expect the result to be like this. However, Xia Qili's information network was not to be underestimated. Unexpectedly, she was able to inquire about this information. However, there was no time to think about this. After all, the purpose of this trip had come. Xiaofan wanted to focus on winning this meteoric iron. I don't need to say more about the function of the meteoric iron. It can be used to forge weapons for martial artists. This was very difficult in the past. However, with today's technology, smelting it is not a problem. Xiao Fei briefly introduced the function of the meteoric iron. Then, she smiled and said, "The starting price of the meteoric iron is 50 million. Each increase must be no less than 20 million, 70 million, 100 million, 150 million. The price of the meteoric iron sword. Xiaochen didn't join the bidding at the beginning because it was meaningless to do so. He didn't want to bother. So, he waited until the last moment when there were few people competing. Of course, Xiaochen didn't bid, but he observed secretly. Among these people who participated in the bidding, most of them were from the righteous sections. There were few people from the demonic sections. This showed that this kind of hard weapon was very important for martial arts cultivation, but demonic cultivators didn't seem to care about this. "Brother Yang, when are we going to make our move?" Wang Chake asked in a low voice. He knew that although he had defected to Xiaochen, he would still be the one bidding. At most, Xiaochen would not abandon him. However, these risky things couldn't be done by Xiaochen and others, right? Then what was the point of defecting? No hurry, wait a little longer. You don't have any psychological pressure. When you finish bidding and walk out of the venue, I will disguise myself as someone else and snatch the auction item from your hands. At that time, you will not be noticed. After you go down the mountain, find a place to stay first, and I will meet you again. Xiaochen instructed. Then, he turned to look at Song Huawu and Xia Shibin, saying, "The few of you will go together. When the time comes, Wang Chake's things will be snatched away. Furthermore, there are many of you. No one will make things difficult for you." Xiaochen had already planned it. The escape method of the black man in the bamboo had inspired him, so that people would ignore the original owner of the 5 Poisons secret book, but it was impossible to chase the black man in the bamboo hat. When Wang Chake auctioned the extraterrestrial meteoric iron, his physical characteristics would be firmly remembered. No matter where he ran, he might encounter people who coveted it, and he would be blocked by many parties. But if it was snatched away by Xiaochen, it would be different. Xiaochen would appear with a new face. Anyway, he could disguise himself as anyone. At that time, only the people nearby would see that Wang Chake was snatched away by him, and the others would not know. When he ran away, even if they wanted to chase him, these people would not be able to do anything. Everyone nodded. Although it was risky for Xiaochen to run away, they also knew that at this time, Xiaochen's words were orders, and they could not be questioned. They had to follow it to be safe. Finally, as the price soared, the people bidding gradually decreased, and there were only 2 left. What Xiaochen did not expect was that it was actually the long-faced cultivator, and the smiling Maitreya from before. These 2 people were sworn enemies. Once they were at each other's throats, there would be no end to it. It suddenly gave Xiaochen a headache. At this moment, the price had soared to 500 million, which was already a high price for the extraterrestrial meteoric iron. But none of them had the intention to give up. 600 million. The price was still refreshing, and it was the smiling Maitreya who made the bid. "Humph, do what you want. 600 million it is. You just like to be a sucker." The long-faced cultivator curled his lips and gave up bidding. "So what?" The smiling Maitreya sneered. "Wang Chake, make your move." Xiaochen said. 620 million. Wang Chake raised his paddle and bid. "Huh." The smiling Maitreya was taken aback, and then his face became extremely gloomy. His gaze swept over Wang Chake, and he found that it was exactly where Zheng Xinxiang of the Greenstone sect was sitting. They must be a group. Motherf *Ker, Greenrock sect, are all your people going against me? Are you trying to get back at me? Are you deliberately raising the price? Fine, I give up. I'll let you spend 620 million to buy it. Let's see if you can afford it. From the smiling Maitreya's point of view, Zheng Xinxiang wanted to buy the 1,000-year purple snow lotus, but he gave up bidding because he did not have enough money. He was unwilling, so he pretended to leave first, and then found a friend to sit in his seat to make trouble for him. He did not believe that such an unknown small sect could spend 620 million to buy a piece of extraterrestrial meteoric iron. This was completely illogical. The smiling Maitreya was from the Joyful clan, so he had no use for this extraterrestrial meteoric iron. Could it be used as a prop for dual cultivation? Wasn't that **T? He participated in the bidding because he saw the long-faced cultivator make a move, so he could not help but jump in to make trouble. But now that he could cheat the Greenrock sect, why not? So he sneered and said, "Fine, since the Greenrock sect wants to buy it, I'll give it to you. I don't know what you're going to do when you go back. Don't tell me you want to be the sea stabilizer?" Xiaochen was stunned. At first, he did not understand why the smiling Maitreya suddenly mentioned the Greenrock sect. But when he saw Wang Chake's seat, he immediately understood. It was Zheng Xinxiang's seat previously. The smiling Maitreya obviously thought that Wang Chake was with Zheng Xinxiang. His words could not be said to be without poison. Even if they could not snatch the extraterrestrial meteoric iron from Wang Chake in this auction, the monk could run, but the temple could not. When the time came, wouldn't it be easy to go directly to the Greenrock sect to find him? Xiaochen did not expect this inadvertent action to implicate the Greenrock sect. Fortunately, he had thought of a countermeasure beforehand. After the auction, he would snatch the extraterrestrial meteoric iron from Wang Chake's hands. Otherwise, these people would really think that the Greenrock sect had won the auction. Smiling Tiger, you're quite good, huh? Damn it, if I don't harm you, I'll be letting down my title as a hedonistic young master. Just you wait. Xiaochen thought to himself. Chapter 750. 620 million going once, 620 million going twice, 620 million going thrice. Sold. While Xiaochen was thinking about it, Xiaofei had already finalized the deal. The extraterrestrial meteoric iron became Wang Chake's. Because it was the last auction item, many people got up and prepared to leave after it ended. Some lecherous cultivators surrounded Xiaofei. It was true that they coveted Xiaofei, but what they wanted more was to win the beauty and build a relationship with the auction. This auction was held by a mysterious organization in the martial arts world. It was said that they were very powerful and financially strong, but no one knew which force, sect, or family it was. Even if they knew, they would not spread it. In short, these cultivators were dreaming of marrying a fair, rich, and beautiful woman. Xiaochen was naturally not interested. He accompanied Wang Chake and the staff to swipe their cards to get the extraterrestrial meteoric iron. Can we go to the office? There are too many people here. Xiaochen suddenly said. Oh, that's fine too. The staff was stunned. Generally, only those who had submitted the items would go to the office to get the money. Those who bought things usually swiped their cards on the spot. However, this was the last order for Xiaochen and the others. The scene was indeed very noisy, so this proposal could not be said to be unreasonable. The staff took Xiaochen and the others to the office. Wang Chake took out the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's card. He had already contacted the Supernatural Investigation Bureau through text messages. They had already transferred 620 million, so the procedure was successfully completed. Thank you for your patronage. The staff handed the extraterrestrial meteoric iron box to Wang Chake. Wang Chake held it in his hand, but since Xiaochen did not say he would leave, he naturally would not leave directly. Seeing that these people had no intention of leaving, the staff could not help but be stunned. He asked, "Is there anything else?" "Yes, it's like this." Xiaochen said, "I had an auction item before. Can we settle it together? This is the receipt." As he spoke, Xiaochen took out the receipt. He didn't look for the middle-aged man from before, because that would be too conspicuous. He reckoned that someone with ulterior motives would figure out who went to the office to collect the money and analyze who took out the 5 poisons secret manual. Oh, this is no problem. The staff took the receipt and couldn't help but be surprised. It turned out to be the sender of the 5 Poisons secret book. However, although he was shocked, as a staff member, he knew what to say and what not to say. He just said happily, "Wait a moment, let me verify it." As he spoke, he scanned the QR code and watermark on it, as well as the special identification information to verify that the receipt was real. He then said, "I've already transferred the auction proceeds, after deducting 20% of the commission, to the bank card you left behind. You can check it now." Even if Xiao Chen's receipt was real, it couldn't be transferred at will. It had to be transferred to the account that was left when the auction was first sent. This was also to prevent someone from stealing or robbing the auction receipt. In this way, no matter who came to exchange, the money would still be transferred to the original account. "Thank you." Xiao Chen's mobile phone received a notification that the money had been transferred to the account. He thanked the staff and left the office with Wang Chake and the others. Xiao Chen and the others went in and out of the office, but no one thought much about it. After all, Wang Chake was holding the extraterrestrial meteoric iron box in his hand. Everyone knew that they were going to handle this procedure. As for the middle-aged man's office, there were indeed a few people sneaking around the door, but they didn't go in. Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. Fortunately, he had exchanged here. If he had gone in, he might really have been suspected. They walked forward quietly until they were out of the auction hall. Although some people noticed them, no one dared to make a move. "Let's go to the restroom," said Xiao Chen. They did not question him at all. They walked to the public restroom on one side of the hall. After they entered, Xiao Chen looked around and confirmed that nobody else was here. Therefore, he immediately said, "I will pretend to be the smiling Maitreya and rob you later. Wang Chake, you will pretend to chase after me and shout something to let everybody know that you have been robbed." "Yes, of course." Wang Chake was extremely grateful. He knew that Xiao Chen was trying to save him. Otherwise, if everybody's attention was on him, he would not have a good time. Now that the auction item in his hand had been stolen, who would care about him? While talking, Xiao Chen entered an independent compartment and turned himself into the smiling Maitreya. Right now, Xiao Chen was no longer a beginner cultivator in the refinement stage. He was an actual expert in the building foundation stage. Therefore, his entire body was within the range of his transformation. In the blink of an eye, he had become exactly the same as the smiling Maitreya. Even someone as meticulous as Jean Bebe would not have recognized him. Wang Chake pretended to pee on the side, while Song Huawu stood at the door of the washroom and waited. Xia Shibin also pretended to be nonchalant as he lit a cigarette and leisurely walked around. After a while, footsteps came from the door of the restroom. It was 2 cultivators who had come to the restroom. They were obviously dazed when they saw Wang Chake. He was the guy who had won the last piece of the meteoric iron. They both remembered him. However, the 2 of them were from a small evil sect. The meteoric iron was useless to them, and they were not very strong. Naturally, they would not think of robbing him. They merely took a few glances at him. Right then, the door of one of the cubicles was suddenly opened, and a fat man rushed out. Without saying anything, he grabbed the auction item in Wang Chake's hand and ran away. Because Wang Chake was focused on peeing with one hand, and only one of his hands was free, he did not grab it very tightly. Therefore, Xiao Chen's attack succeeded. Ah! Robbery! Wang Chake turned pale with fright. He did not even have time to pull up his pants and rushed out to chase after the smiling Maitreya. Half of his pants was still out. Song Huawu secretly spat and turned her head, secretly cursing Wang Chake for being so thick-skinned. He even dared to run out like this. It was not that Wang Chake did not want to pull up his pants, but he wanted to act more realistically. Who would care about anything else when being robbed? Even if he had to run naked, he had to chase after it. Xiaofan also ran out with a cigarette in his mouth. He pointed at the smiling Maitreya in front and shouted, F***ck your grandma. You can't compete in the auction, so you want to rob it openly? Everyone helped to stop him. Outside the restroom, a few cultivators who were coveting the meteoric iron saw the smiling Maitreya rushing out with a jade box in his hand. They were stunned for a moment. When they heard Wang Chake and Xiaofan's shouts behind them, they immediately understood. However, at this time, Xiaochen had already run far away. It was not easy to chase after him. Moreover, these people were not fools. The smiling Maitreya of the Joyful clan was famous. He was a demon general-level expert who had been famous for a long time and was not a weak one. All these years, he seldom made a move. No one knew if his strength had improved further now. Who would dare to act rashly at this moment? Wang Chake, Xiaofan, and Song Huawu frantically ran all the way forward. Wang Chake's crotch was still hanging halfway and he had not put it back. The scene was very comical, but none of the cultivators present found it funny. Their attention was focused on the smiling Maitreya. Everyone had different thoughts. Those cultivators who had designs on Wang Chake could not help but be disappointed. The smiling Maitreya had snatched the item away. In that case, they basically had no hope. They were not a match for the smiling Maitreya. Wasn't it courting death to intercept him? Moreover, the people from the Joyful clan were very evil and ruthless. They would not do things that would cost their lives if they failed to rob. Xiaochen exerted his speed to the limit and ran desperately. However, he was surprised to find that other than Wang Chake and the others chasing after him, there were no other cultivators chasing after him. While he was puzzled, he roughly figured it out. This smiling Maitreya was probably a ruthless person. It was no wonder that when this person opened his mouth at the auction, only the long-faced cultivator dared to. Damn. Just as Xiaochen thought of the long-faced cultivator, the long-faced cultivator appeared. Xiaochen was so shocked that he almost threw the jade box out. What the heck, I can't be that lucky, right? However, the truth was in front of him. Xiaochen saw the long-faced cultivator standing in the middle of the road not far away. It was obvious that he was intercepting him. He secretly lamented in his heart. Why was he so unlucky? Of all people, he had to meet this guy. Although Xiaochen did not know how powerful the long-faced cultivator was, to be able to go against this smiling Maitreya, he was obviously not ordinary. Hee, smiling Maitreya, I really didn't expect you to be doing this kind of robbing business. The long-faced cultivator grinned and mocked, however, you are unlucky to meet me. Leave the item behind. Don't force me to take action against you. Xiaochen was helpless but had no other choice. No matter how he could fight against enemies of a higher level or how he had a sure kill method, he had no confidence at all when facing the long-faced cultivator. After hesitating for a while, countless thoughts flashed through Xiaochen's mind. Finally, he gritted his teeth and said, Senior, I am not the smiling Maitreya. I am pretending to be him to frame him. That's really funny, The long-faced cultivator subconsciously wanted to mock and ridicule him. However, after thinking carefully, he paused. Are you telling the truth? Of course it's true. How could this junior dare to lie to senior? Xiaochen said with a bitter smile. You are from the Green Rock sect? The long-faced cultivator suddenly asked. That's right. Xiaochen knew that it was better to admit that he was from the Green Rock sect. It would be easier for the long-faced cultivator to believe him. However, he was also very strange. This long-faced cultivator seemed to believe him very easily. He had only casually said that he was not the smiling Maitreya, and the other party seemed to believe most of it. Circulate your mental cultivation method and let me see. The long-faced cultivator said. Chapter 751. Yes, Senior. Xiaofan directly activated a fireball technique and smashed it on the roadside. You can go now. The long-faced cultivator suddenly waved his hand. Thank you, Senior. Xiaofan did not expect things to go so smoothly. He said a few words and the long-faced cultivator let him go. But this was a good thing. He did not have time to think about it and continued to run forward. The long-faced cultivator sneered. The smiling Maitreya, you have such a day? You've been framed, haven't you? Ha ha ha, you'll have a good time this time. However, this kid from the Green Rock sect is a bit interesting. The reason why he believed it before was that he knew the smiling Maitreya too well. This old rival of his was a person who valued his reputation. If he met him, he would rather fight to the death than lie humbly and say that he was not the smiling Maitreya. What's more, asking him to call him Senior. That would really be like the sun rising from the west. This was simply impossible. From the smiling Maitreya's prideful behavior at the auction, it could be seen that he was not the kind of person who would give in. Moreover, the fireball technique that Xiaofan activated was not the smiling Maitreya's martial technique at all. This guy did not know this kind of martial technique at all, so it could be completely ruled out. Since it was to frame the smiling Maitreya, of course, he would cooperate. As for the extraterrestrial meteoric iron, he would not snatch it. The long-faced cultivator was self-confident in his strength and did not bother to rob the younger generation. Of course, it was also because he was more upright and disdained to do so. Not long after Xiaofan ran, Wang Chaik, Xiaofan, and Song Huawu caught up. The long-faced cultivator was stunned when he saw that Wang Chaik's trousers were still hanging down. What's going on? When Wang Chaik and the others saw the long-faced cultivator, they were also shocked. No way. Xiaofan ran this way just now. Didn't that mean that he had already met the long-faced cultivator? In that case, with the grudge between this horse-faced cultivator and the smiling Maitreya, wouldn't Xiaofan be in danger? However, they couldn't reveal their thoughts and could only pretend to chase after Hua. Their footsteps were much slower as they wanted to see if the horse-faced cultivator had a jade box or something like that. However, the horse-faced cultivator had a backpack on him. They were unable to see anything, causing them to feel anxious. When the long-faced cultivator saw the people chasing after them, a smile appeared on his face. If it weren't for Xiaofan's earlier showdown, he naturally wouldn't have been able to guess so much. Now that he saw them slowing down, he immediately understood that they were in cahoots and were putting on an act. He couldn't help but find it a little funny. The people of the Green Rock sect were really talented. They actually used this method to avoid being robbed and even framed the smiling Maitreya. It was really amazing. Not bad, very appetizing. As long as the smiling Maitreya could be defeated, the long-faced cultivator would be very happy. Therefore, when he saw that they were nervous, he said for the first time, "He's in front. It's fine. Continue acting." Wang Chaik was stunned. He couldn't help but look at the long-faced cultivator meaningfully. "Senior, you mean, you know what I mean. Go on." The long-faced cultivator waved his hand. Wang Chaik felt reassured. Seeing how friendly this horse-faced cultivator was, he knew that he must have reached some sort of agreement with Xiaofan. Wang Chaik felt at ease. Xiaofan and Song Huawu felt the same way. Just as they were about to continue chasing, 5 cultivators ran out from the side and instantly surrounded Wang Chaik, the group, and even the long-faced cultivator. "Don't talk nonsense. Take out the items from the auction," one of the cultivators in the lead said. He was a level 1 martial general expert. When he swung his fist, he revealed his full strength. "Take out what? Get out of the way. I'm chasing after someone." Wang Chaik was instantly enraged. Shouting? "Kid, your style is quite unique. The front of your pants is half exposed. Are you trying to defy the heavens? The leading cultivator looked at Wang Chake carefully. When he saw his attire, he was immediately amused. You can get out of the way, but hand over the items. This place is very close to the auction. I don't want to kill people. You'd better be more self-conscious. What are you talking about? The items have been stolen. Why don't you chase after them with me? Although Wang Chake looked very anxious, he was actually trying to buy time. If he caught up with Xiao Chen, it would not be fun. What's stolen? Kid, don't lie to me. Do you think I'm an idiot? The leading cultivator sneered, not believing him at all. I'm not lying. You want to steal the meteoric iron, right? At this time, the long-faced cultivator spoke. You are. Ah. You're from the floating flower sect. The leading cultivator hadn't noticed the long-faced cultivator before. Now that he saw him, he was shocked. He was so shocked that his legs turned to jelly. The long-faced cultivator was not at his level. He could kill him in a second. The meteoric iron in his hand was stolen by the smiling Maitreya. He has already run away. Many people saw this. The long-faced cultivator said lightly. You stopped him from chasing after him. I guess he has already disappeared. Senior, is this true? The leading cultivator obviously knew the long-faced cultivator's character. If he had stolen something, he would not lie. There was no need for him to lie. Although they had more people on their side, they were no match for him. Do you think I would lie? The long-faced cultivator's face darkened. No, 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 I wouldn't dare. The leading cultivator was a little hesitant. Should he chase after Xiao Chen or continue to interrogate Wang Chake? At this time, a few cultivators who were watching from behind also caught up. When they saw that Wang Chake was surrounded, they could not help but ask, Did you catch up? Don't mention it. I was chasing him, but these people stopped me. Wang Chake complained angrily. How can I chase him now? He's long gone. Xiao Chen turned around and came back, but the meteoric iron had been put into his backpack. His current appearance had also changed to that of Yang Jiannan. How is it? How did such a big thing happen while I was taking a dump? I heard that the smiling Maitreya stole the meteoric iron. Did you catch up? Xiao Chen ran over and asked in a hurry. No. I'm really unlucky this time. Wang Chake said angrily. Big brother, look at these people. They surrounded me and delayed me. Who surrounded you? Don't talk nonsense. The leading cultivator was now clear that the meteoric iron had really been stolen by the smiling Maitreya. If it was someone else who had stolen it, he could still try to chase after him. But the smiling Maitreya was in existence with the same strength as the long-faced cultivator. Therefore, he quietly let his men disperse and did not admit that he had surrounded Wang Chake. Otherwise, he would not get the meteoric iron and be treated as a robber. That would not be good. Then let's hurry up and chase after him. Xiao Chen yelled. We can't catch up. Wang Chake said with some frustration. Forget it, it's too late. Ah, no way, we spent so much money, I didn't expect. Xiao Chen looked disappointed. The long-faced cultivator looked at Xiao Chen and smiled meaningfully. Okay, don't surround him. Disperse. If you have the ability to watch the fun, go and chase after the smiling Maitreya. With the long-faced cultivator's words, everyone also dispersed. The leading cultivator had long wanted to leave. It was his carelessness that spoiled the matter. He was afraid that the long-faced cultivator would blame him for this matter. Xiao Chen and the rest walked down the mountain dejectedly. By this time, the news that they had been robbed by the smiling Maitreya had already spread. If someone bumped into them, they would at most point at them. No one had any intentions of robbing them anymore. Several people arrived at the parking lot safely. They didn't stop. They got in the car directly and drove away quickly. Brother Yang, your trick is amazing. We deceived all these people. Wang Chake gave a thumbs up in admiration. Come on, look at you. It's really embarrassing. You didn't even fasten your pants. Song Huawu said with some contempt. Huh, didn't I want to act realistically? If I had the time to fasten my pants, would I still be robbed? Wang Chake smiled indifferently. How about it, Brother Yang? My sacrifice is quite big, right? I exposed myself for the sake of acting. Not bad. Xiaofan nodded. Chake, in the future, when you join our group, don't think too much. We will definitely treat you like a friend, but if you want to betray us, I won't let you go. I understand, Brother Yang. You treat me better than Song Billion. In today's situation, even Song Billion, that old thing, would choose to give up on me. With this comparison, I know how good you are to me, Brother Yang. Wang Chake said gratefully. Well, if that's the case, then I won't say much. It depends on your performance in the future. Xiaofan nodded. Drive directly to Lon City and hand the extraterrestrial meteoric iron to the Research Institute for research. In order to avoid trouble, Xiaofan planned to send the extraterrestrial meteoric iron to the Research Institute. In this way, those martial arts sects who coveted it couldn't do anything. They were different from foreign terrorist spy organizations. They didn't dare to openly rob the Military Advisors Research Institute. That was undoubtedly equivalent to courting death. Therefore, even if they knew, it would be of no help. They didn't have the guts to go against the armed forces. When the time came, they just had to be wary of people like Kai Wuliang. The car rushed all the way and finally arrived at Lon City in the middle of the night. It went directly to the gate of the Military Research Institute and was stopped. Because the car didn't have the license plate of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, there was no pass in front of the car. Xiaofan, who was driving, showed his ID. The deputy leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. This title was loud enough, but to everyone's surprise, the gatekeeper said, "Sorry, I have to ask for instructions." Instructions? Xiaofan was immediately unhappy. We have something important to do. Hurry up and let us in. Why does the Supernatural Investigation Bureau need to ask for instructions before coming here? What do you mean? I'm the deputy leader of Team C. Why do I need to ask for instructions? Chapter 752. The guard was actually in a difficult position. He had to tell the truth. I'm sorry, Deputy Team Leader Xia. A deputy director of your Supernatural Investigation Bureau is here, so everyone who comes here has to report. If I let people in privately, I will be punished, Deputy Director. Is it a liar? Xiaofan was stunned. Xiaofan spoke at this time. He looked at the guard and asked, "You said that the deputy director is here. Who is it?" "This." "I'm sorry. I can't reveal it." The guard said carefully. "How can you talk like this? This is our deputy director Yang. The person who came is a deputy director. Our brother Yang is also a deputy director. They are of the same rank." Xiaofan was a little annoyed. "Ah." The guard was stunned and looked at Xiaofan in disbelief. "I'm Yang Jiannan. You should know me. I was responsible for solving the theft of the chip data here." Xiaofan said, "This is my ID." Xiaofan was polite. He wasn't as angry as Xiaofan because the guard was also doing things according to the rules. There was no need to make things difficult for him. The guard did hear about Yang Jiannan. At this moment, he was shocked. This was a powerful person. He went to Lego Town to retrieve the encrypted chip. This matter had already spread in this military research base. At this time, he was a little excited to see him in person. He checked Xiao Chen's ID and found that his rank was really a deputy director. He quickly said, "Deputy Director Yang, Deputy Director Song is here, Song Billion?" Xiao Chen frowned after listening. What is he doing here? This. I don't know, but Deputy Director Yang, please come in. The guard said quickly. There was no need to report. With Xiao Chen's rank, he could freely enter and exit here. Xiao Chen nodded and let Xia Shibin start the car. They drove into the military research base. Brother Yang, where are we going now? Asked Xia Shibin. You drive first. Walk around here. I want to see what Song Billion is doing, said Xiao Chen. Okay, Brother Yang. Xia Shibin started the car and walked around the research base. Xiao Chen's perception was very keen. Soon, Xiao Chen found the problem. You park the car in front of the banquet hall over there. Xiao Chen said, pointing not far away. Okay. Xia Shibin responded and parked the car in front of the door. Everyone is hungry, right? It's a hard journey. Let's eat something first. Xiao Chen got out of the car first, pushed open the restaurant's door and walked in. Xia Shibin, Wang Chaik, and Song Huawu followed closely behind. Who are you? A banquet is being held here, please do not barge in. A guard at the entrance of the restaurant immediately rushed over and stopped Xiao Chen and the others. Xiao Chen glanced at the guard and knew that he did not recognize him. The last time he came to carry out a mission, he had always appeared as Xiao Chang. Now that he was Yang Jiannan, it was normal that he did not recognize him. Yang said. Xiao Yang Yang. Xiao Yang to Yang, Xiao to Yang. The guard was stunned. I'm sorry. The senior leaders of your Supernatural Investigation Bureau are having a meal here, so please don't disturb them, presumptuous. This is also a senior leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. How can Song Billion, the old bastard, eat inside? Our brother Yang came here after completing a mission from thousands of miles away. Can't he have a meal? Wang Chaik jumped out directly. In order to show that he had completely sided with Xiao Chen, he said loudly. If he slandered Song Billion in public, he wouldn't be able to go back. He was also using this to prove his intentions to Xiao Chen. The guard was a little stunned. After listening to this, he was in a dilemma and didn't know how to deal with it. In his opinion, Wang Chaik shouldn't be a liar. If he could enter the research base openly, he must be a person with a proper identity. Such a person shouldn't be a liar. Just when he didn't know what to do, a voice sounded in the restaurant. Who? Who broke in? Dr. Su, your management isn't good, right? I think there are big loopholes. I heard that someone broke in at the door. With your management model, no wonder the data was stolen last time. This. Dr. Su was a little embarrassed after listening. He was naturally the person in charge of this research base, Su Inda. He wasn't good at socializing with people. His whole life was dedicated to learning. He wasn't interested in these superficial things. Today, Song Billion suddenly visited and said that he wanted to invite Su Inda to dinner, but Su Inda had a research project in his hand. He couldn't spare any time at all. Even if he was free, he wouldn't easily participate in this kind of unofficial dinner. After all, his identity was a bit sensitive. What if the other party wanted to steal some research secrets from his mouth? Although it should be impossible with Song Billion's identity, he was already used to it. He really wouldn't go to an unfamiliar person's treat. But it doesn't matter. My junior is a top student. Not only is he good at management, but his skills are also very good. He is also an overseas returnee. His knowledge is also very good. He is the most suitable person to work as a coordinator here. Song Billion said, I still need Dr. Su to take care of me in the future. Hee, this is easy. Su Inda had a headache. He wasn't good at this kind of social interaction. He didn't know where this Song Billion got his connections and arranged his junior to work at the research base. The procedures were already done, but Su Inda just found out about it. In the past, when the research base recruited newcomers, they would go through strict screening. Especially after the last incident, it was even more so. Su Inda didn't expect Song Billion to arrange someone to come in without saying a word. Of course, Song Billion must have used the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's channel. In the name of the mission, he could arrange someone to come in. This made Su Inda helpless. Well, who is outside the door? Why aren't you leaving? I'll go and see for myself. Whoever dares to be rash here, I'll slap him to death. Song Billion stood up. He intended to show his power and let Su Inda see his power. However, just as he stood up, a voice sounded. Song Billion, who do you want to slap to death? Yang Jiannan? Song Billion looked at the person and was shocked. Why are you here? You're quite good, aren't you? You even learned to arrange jobs for others? How much did you get? Xiaofan said sarcastically with a smile that wasn't a smile. Yang Jiannan, don't talk nonsense. This is my junior, a real outstanding talent. Song Billion said seriously, recently, the research base has been having problems, so I recommended a young talent. How can this be considered arranging a job? Up to you. Xiaofan waved his hand and ignored him. He casually sat on the main seat where Song Billion was just now and said to the staff standing at the side, give me a new set of chopsticks. I want to eat. Yang Jiannan, what are you doing? Don't go too far. This is my position. Song Billion suddenly became furious. I want to impeach you at the meeting. You are arrogant and condescending. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you are with Xiaojili, the old man. Song Billion, isn't it a bit magical for you to say this? Xiaofan smiled and said, it's normal for me to come here. But for you, you came here for no reason. Did you ask for leave? Have you talked to Deputy Bureau Chief Ling? Then why did you talk to him? Song Billion asked, shouldn't you be performing tasks at the auction now? How did you come here? Could it be that you messed up the task and didn't dare to go back, so you came here to show off? Idiot. Wang Chaik rolled his eyes and glanced at Song Billion. When Brother Yang came here, he naturally completed the task. Then, he escorted the meteoric iron to the research base and had a celebration banquet. Who do you think you are? You dare to talk nonsense in front of Brother Yang. I think you don't want to live anymore, right? Brother Yang can send you to outer space with a slap and let you develop Mars. You. Wang Chaik, you're rebelling. Song Billion suddenly became furious. If Xiaofan scolded him, he wouldn't be so angry. After all, Xiaofan and he were enemies, but Wang Chaik was his man. You're really right. I'm rebelling. What about it? I'm following Brother Yang now. Wang Chaik looked at Song Billion proudly as if he was going to piss him off. Good, very good. Song Billion was so angry that he didn't know what to say. Yeah, you're right. I'm good now. Wang Chaik smiled. Yang Jiannan, you actually got the meteoric iron, and you're unscathed? Song Billion looked at the four of them and felt a little incredible. Why, Song Billion, do you want to curse us? Or are you saying that your ability is too bad that you think we can't do this? Xiaofan asked mockingly. It's nothing. Song Billion shook his head with some disappointment. Although Yang Jiannan, the deputy bureau chief, took advantage of Xiaofan, now Yang Jiannan also made a great contribution. He brought the meteoric iron to the research base unscathed. This contribution was beyond doubt. He was a little worried that it wouldn't take long for Yang Jiannan's ranking to be ahead of him. After all, the status of the newcomer group and the C group was basically the same in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. If Yang Jiannan was ahead of him, then he would have a hard time. Dr. Su, I'll leave little Song's matter to you. I'll go first. Song Billion knew that he would be slapped in the face if he stayed here. It was better to leave as soon as possible. Uncle, I. A young man named Little Song glanced at Song Billion and stood up. It was naturally not suitable for him to stay here for dinner. You go with me. Come here tomorrow to report. Song Billion waved his hand. Okay, uncle. Little Song stood up and followed Song Billion to leave. He turned to Dr. Su and said respectfully, Dr. Su, I'll leave first. I'll come here tomorrow to report. Chapter 753. Okay. Dr. Su's impression of Little Song was quite good. He was polite and seemed to be really talented. He was the talent that the research base needed. The person in charge of the computer center had left and the position was vacant. It was a good opportunity for Little Song to take over. However, Song Billion's method of arranging for people to come in without notifying them made Su Inda a little uncomfortable. After Song Billion and Little Song left, Xiao Chen said enthusiastically, Uncle Su, we meet again. N? Su Inda was stunned. Hee, it's me, Xiao Chang. Have you forgotten? You even wanted to marry your daughter to me last time? Xiao Chen laughed. Aha! It's you. Su Inda immediately became enthusiastic. How did you change? I don't even recognize you anymore. I thought you were as arrogant as Deputy Bureau Chief Song. Oh right, how did you become the Deputy Bureau Chief? Weren't you the team leader of Team C last time? I was promoted because of the previous mission. Xiao Chen did not elaborate. This is another appearance. You know, when we, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, carry out missions, we have several appearances. I understand. Su Inda said, so, you also got the extraterrestrial meteoric iron? You brought it here? Can I see it? Yes, I think it's safer to send it directly to the research base. Xiao Chen said, but let's eat first. My subordinates are hungry too. That's true. I was too impatient. Oh right, Xiao Zhang, go to the kitchen and get some hot food. Su Inda said to his subordinates. No need. This is not cold. There's no need to waste it. Xiao Chen laughed. He was not too particular about these things. He had experienced the days of selling breakfast in the morning market. How could he be extravagant? Moreover, Song Billion had not eaten much. He had just poured the wine and said a few words before he was chased away by Xiao Chen. Xiao Chang, you and I both like each other. Why don't I marry my daughter to you? You are not arrogant, and you are capable. Su Inda said appreciatively, I'm just joking. You don't have to be nervous. It won't ruin your relationship with Sour. I know. Xiao Chen was speechless. There was nothing going on between him and Sour, right? Alright, I won't joke around anymore. Are you all hungry? Everyone, please take your seats. Su Inda still preferred to deal with Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's style made people feel comfortable, unlike Song Billion who was always high and mighty. After Xiao Chen invited Xia Shibin, Song Huawu, and Wang Chake to take their seats, everyone began to eat. Because they were really hungry, there was no need for empty words. Su Inda breathed a sigh of relief. By the way, who did Song Billion send in just now? Xiao Chen suddenly thought of Xiao Song. It said that he's a junior of his, but he's also quite capable. He's an overseas returnee and is good at coordinating work. Our research base just happens to need such a talent. Su Inda said, it's just that we didn't inform him in advance and suddenly brought him in. Moreover, the procedures and so on have been completed. I'm a little surprised. Xiaochen nodded. Su Inda was the highest person in charge of this research base. Song Billion had indeed gone overboard by sending someone in without informing him in advance. Is there any problem with this person? The most important thing in the research base now is not talent, but safety. If there's another spy like before, it won't be fun. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau has reviewed it. There shouldn't be any problem, right? Su Inda said, only they can review it. I don't have the ability to review these things here. Xiaochen didn't say anything more. Song Billion's side must have been handled properly. However, logically speaking, there shouldn't be any problem with Song Billion's Jr., so he didn't pay any more attention to it and ate with everyone. Song Billion took Xiao Song out of the research base. In the car, Xiao Song handed a small card to Song Billion and said, "Uncle, thank you so much. This is the 20 million me that we agreed on in advance. It's an anonymous foreign bank card. Please check it." Hee, Xiao Song, you're too polite. Song Billion put the bank card in his pocket and smiled slightly. But let's make this clear. You can't tell others that you're here. Also, don't make trouble for me. Don't worry, uncle. My dad just wants me to have a decent job. I won't say anything. If I say anything, won't I lose my job too? Xiao Song smiled. Song Billion nodded. He knew about Xiao Song's family background. He was a distant relative of his. In fact, he also helped the Song family to manage a business in the secular world. He was indeed not short of money. Although he only took 10% of the profits every year and had to give the rest to the Song family, it was still an astronomical figure. Therefore, Song Billion didn't even think about refusing his filial piety. Moreover, Xiao Song was now a scientist in the research base. It was also very dignified to say it out loud. Okay, you work hard. If you do well, I'll find a way to promote you. Promotion won't be a problem. Song Billion said. Thank you so much, uncle. Xiao Song said happily. In Songning City, Tang Tang looked at the identification report in her hand. She was in a daze. It was indeed the blood of her closest relatives. Both bottles were of the same blood, and they were not from the same person because the blood type was different. At this moment, Tang Tang already believed what the mysterious woman said before. Her parents did not die, but they really went to the poison sect. It turned out that they didn't want to abandon her, but they had no choice. Knowing the truth, Tang Tang was a little conflicted. Should she go or not? As a child, when she learned that her parents were in trouble, she had to stand up for them. However, Tang Tang's only doubt was whether the mysterious woman would keep her promise and let her mother go after she went. She didn't doubt that her mother was in the poison sect, but whether the mysterious woman would keep her promise. Just when she didn't know what to choose, the figure of the mysterious woman appeared out of thin air in the room again. Tang Tang was slightly shocked, but she was not surprised. This woman came and went without a trace. Obviously, she had a very powerful strength, which was beyond normal imagination. Therefore, no matter how powerful Xiaochen was, he was definitely no match for this mysterious woman. Tang Tang didn't want to cause trouble for Xiaochen. She vaguely guessed that this woman should be from the martial arts world. Cheng Menjiang, Shen Jingxian, and Jin Beibei were all taken away by sects outside the martial arts world, but Xiaochen had no way to deal with it. Therefore, Tang Tang simply didn't say these things. Tang Tang, you should know the result, right? How about it? Have you made a decision? Asked the mysterious woman. Oh, you're here. Tang Tang looked up at the mysterious woman and said lightly. Tang Tang, maybe you didn't believe what I said before, but you should believe it now. The mysterious woman took out a jade box, which floated in front of Tang Tang. What's this? Tang Tang was slightly stunned. Open it and you'll know. The mysterious woman smiled gently. Tang Tang opened the jade box with some doubts and saw an antique booklet in it. There were 4 words written on it, 5 poison secrets. Tang Tang was slightly surprised. The peerless martial art you mentioned is this 5 poison secrets? You got it? Of course. Now you won't doubt what I said, right? The mysterious woman was actually very surprised. She was also informed by the auction at the last minute that there was a 5 poison secrets, which made her very excited. She had originally gone to the auction to see if there were any rare medicinal herbs that could be used to refine poison, but in the end, there was such a pleasant surprise. It turned out that she was the person in the black bamboo hat at the auction. She didn't expect that she was a woman. If everyone knew that such a precious 5 poison secrets was casually thrown in front of Tang Tang, they would probably be shocked to death. Is this true? Tang Tang glanced at it and asked. It should be true. I've seen it. It's almost the same as the sex records. The mysterious woman said, after you cultivate it, you can have a peerless martial art. Don't you want to give it a try? After I leave with you, can you really let my parents go? Asked Tang Tang. There's no need to lie to you. With her current situation, it's not suitable for her to cultivate the 5 poison secrets, and you are the best candidate. The mysterious woman said, I think that since you're about to join the poison sect, there should be more trust between us and not deception. I won't lie to you and make you hate me in the future because I don't dare to offend an expert who can sweep the martial arts world. Don't you think so? Then my mother, her body is like this now. Is she not going to live for long? Xiaofan hesitated for a moment and carefully asked. If you master the divine skill, then her life and death will be in your hands. You can help to absorb and dissolve the poison in her body, and she will become an ordinary person, a real ordinary person. Said the mysterious woman. She won't be troubled by her physique anymore. Tang Tang nodded. In fact, she now believed the mysterious woman. Although this mysterious woman had always been very mysterious, it seemed that she never wanted to lie to her, nor would she use force on her. Instead, she honestly told her some facts. However, in this way, Tang Tang felt that they were equal, and the mysterious woman also gave her enough respect. Let me think about it. Tang Tang sighed. If I go with you, will I not be able to come back? Not in a short period of time. We want to stimulate your poison body, so there is a process. When you truly cultivate this 5 poison secret book and reach a certain level, you can walk the martial arts world. The mysterious woman said, at that time, your strength might be higher than mine, and I'm very free now. What do you think? I don't want to lie to you, you can judge based on my current situation. Chapter 754. I believe you. Tang Tang said, I have thought about it. How can I contact you? I will come every day until you agree or not, the mysterious woman said. If I refuse, will you be very disappointed? Will you force me? Tang Tang suddenly asked. I will be disappointed, but there is no need to force me. If you don't cooperate, it's useless for me to take you back. The mysterious woman shook her head. Okay, then come tomorrow. I will give you an answer. Tang Tang said. That's settled. After the mysterious woman finished speaking, she left with a fragrant wind. She came and went without a trace. With her speed, no one could catch up with her at the auction without the long-distance charm. She used that because she didn't want to expose her identity. Tang Tang looked at the back of the mysterious woman and sighed faintly. She realized that there were many times when she could not control herself. She now understood Xiaofan very well. Actually, it should be said that she had always understood Xiaochen. She had said those things to Xiaochen previously because she was afraid that he would worry about her. She and Xiaochen were a couple who had gone through thick and thin together. How could they just break up? However, some things couldn't be changed by individual ability. Tang Tang shook her head. Since she had made the decision, she planned to go out and get something to eat. Because she was in a bad mood, she hadn't eaten for a day. Sister Tang, why haven't I seen you for a day? Where did you go? Yu Xiaochuan was surprised to see Tang Tang. Do you think my dress looks good? Do you think Xiaochen's boss will like it? You're crazy. Tang Tang glanced at him and threw out 2 words. Then she ignored him and walked to the kitchen of the villa. Although the Xiao family had a restaurant, every villa had a separate small kitchen with some fast food in the refrigerator. Yu Xiaochuan didn't care. He continued to hum and try on the dress. You are my little dress. It looks so good on me. Tang Tang just took a sip of milk and spat it out. Wang Tietio gathered Wang Benben and Wang Fantian together and held a family meeting. What do you guys think? Did that little bastard Xiaochen really run away? Wang Tietio had lived for several days, but he didn't see Xiaochen at all. Therefore, he was basically sure that Xiaochen was not in the Xiao family. Father, I think it must be like this. If that's the case, it won't look good if we're still here. Let's go back. Wang Benpai said, besides, it's not convenient to handle the family business here. You don't have a phone? Don't you have WeChat? Is there no video? Wang Tietio glared at Wang Benben and said angrily, exploding heavens, what do you think? I say. Grandpa, it's meaningless to stay here. If we stay here, Boss Xiaochen will definitely not come back. Why don't we go back first and wait for him to come back? Wang Fantian suggested. Not bad, exploding the sky is a good idea. If he comes, we'll come. If he leaves, we'll leave. Wang Tietio nodded his head in satisfaction. Run, you should learn. You're already an adult, so why can't you do it? Even your son is better than you. Yes. Wang Benben almost burst into tears. Is there any difference between what I said and what he said? It's just that the statements are different. If that's the case, then we'll say goodbye in a while and then return to Tianfang. Wang Tietio made the final decision. On the other side, Xiaochen finished his meal and handed over the extraterrestrial meteoric iron to Suinda. After completing the formalities, it was time to leave. Xiaochen wasn't a member of the research base. He wasn't as annoying as Song Bilian, who came here to eat and drink even when he had nothing to do. Early the next morning, he returned to Tianfang province by car. He had to go back and submit his mission. When he left the highway of Tianfang province, there was a business car in front of him. Xiaochen found it familiar. He took a closer look at the car number. Damn, isn't this Wang Tietio's car? They're back? Xiaochen was shocked, but he thought that his current car belonged to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and he looked like Yang Jiannan. Wang Tietio shouldn't recognize him. Brother Yang, isn't that the Wang family's car? Xia Shibin, who was driving, also recognized it, but he thought that Wang Chake was still in the car, so he didn't say anything more. It's the Wang family's. Xiaochen was still very happy. Wang Tietio finally left. Otherwise, it would be quite annoying to bother his grandfather at home all day long. Don't worry about them. Okay. Xia Shibin nodded and drove directly to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Last night, Xia Zhili had already learned the news that Xiaochen had successfully completed the mission. He also knew that Song Bilian intervened in the personnel arrangement of the research base. However, the latter was irrelevant to him. The former was the focus of his concern. In the conference room, Xia Zhili looked at Ling Tian proudly and sighed. We are all here. Now it's the world of the young. I remember that every time we went to the auction to buy things, it wasn't so smooth. Either we were collectively ostracized by people who recognized the identity of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, or we were robbed, or we couldn't compete with others. Deputy Bureau Chief Yang not only offered a reasonable price, but he also delivered it safely to the research base. What kind of ability is this? I think such a talent should be promoted. We old people can't hinder the development of the young. Although he said it with a sigh, he didn't look unhappy. Instead, his face was full of smiles. Song Bilian's face was incomparably ugly. His ranking was above Yang Jiannan. If Yang Jiannan went one step further, wouldn't he catch up to him? However, he couldn't refute Xia Zhili's sarcastic words. He could only laugh dryly. Young people should experience more. Okay, let's not talk about this first. Ling Tian said, I just received a notice from the higher-ups. I was supposed to retire this year, but they asked me to postpone my retirement indefinitely and wait for the new appointment letter to arrive. As he said that, Ling Tian handed a document to everyone present. Xia Zhili's face changed. He worked hard for the position of Deputy Bureau Chief of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Now, a document shattered his dream. Although he didn't understand what the higher-ups meant, this document couldn't be faked. After Xia Zhili finished reading it, he passed it to Song Bilian. Song Bilian, on the other hand, was very happy. He was always afraid that Xia Zhili would be promoted. If Xia Zhili really got promoted, then he would be in trouble. However, now that Ling Tian postponed his retirement indefinitely, it meant that Xia Zhili no longer had a chance. No matter what the reason was, the result was good. The document was passed around. Xiaofan didn't care. Actually, his impression of Ling Tian was quite good. At least this person was fair. It was good to have him take charge of the situation. Next, let's talk about Deputy Bureau Chief Yang. Deputy Bureau Chief Yang has established a great merit this time. Logically speaking, he should be promoted. However, because of some things before, everyone had a tacit understanding. This can only be considered as Deputy Bureau Chief Yang's merit. Ling Tian waved his hand. This matter was settled. Next, I'm going to talk about a very important matter. Everyone knows that the outer martial arts world has been planning for the Devil Gate Conference. It's the election for the Devil Gate leader. We have to follow up on this matter. After hearing this, everyone's expression turned serious. Even Song Bilian became serious. After all, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's control over the outer martial arts world was very weak. Although there was Team A to balance them, in reality, Team A only cooperated with the outer martial arts world guilds. Basically, they only played a role in moderation. They couldn't control the ordinary aristocratic families like Team C and Team B did. They were already very weak. If the sects in the outer martial arts world joined forces, then the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wouldn't be able to interfere at all. Even the outer martial arts world guilds wouldn't be able to interfere with the Devil Gate. Everyone knows our current situation. If all the Devil Gate in the outer martial arts world joined forces and listened to the orders of the Devil Gate leader, it would definitely have a great impact on our management. Even Team A under my command wouldn't be able to interfere with the affairs of the outer martial arts world. This is quite disadvantageous for us. Ling Tian said. Deputy Director Ling, I think there's no need to be so worried. Let's not talk about whether these demonic sects can work together. Even if they do you think they will really listen to the orders of the demonic sect leader? Xiaofan said, why should they listen to him? I feel that this is just a name. When it comes to interests, they will still do their own thing. Deputy Bureau Chief Yang, you are wrong. Song Bilian didn't let go of any opportunity to embarrass Xiaofan. Although they may not be on good terms internally, they will be unified when facing outsiders. You don't have to argue. There are also several factions in our Supernatural Investigation Bureau, but when facing outsiders, aren't we also unified? Xiaochen was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Song Billion to be so smart. Although the sect was different from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Xiaochen didn't continue to refute. Yes, what Deputy Bureau Chief Song said makes sense. We must nip it in the bud. Ling Tian nodded and said. Okay, then how do we prevent it? Xia Zhili said, can we stop it? If we say a word, will the Devil Gate conference be cancelled? Does everyone think that is possible? Of course that's impossible. Ling Tian was a little embarrassed. He smiled bitterly and said, that is why we have to think of a way together. Deputy Bureau Chief Song said it so clearly and logically just now. I think we should let him speak. Xia Zhili narrowed his eyes and directly kicked the trouble to Song Billion. Didn't he say the most just now? Then let's continue. Deputy Bureau Chief Song, do you have a good plan? Ling Tian said, if this matter is handled well, it will be a great merit. I think the higher-ups don't agree to my retirement because of this, right? If there is trouble in the Wulin, I really can't retire here. After hearing this, Song Billion's heart moved slightly. He said indifferently, this is a great merit. It is an opportunity. Deputy Bureau Chief Yang is young and capable. I think we should let him handle this matter. No matter what, as long as this Devil Gate conference is destroyed, I am willing to step back and let him be ranked above me. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.